time. This is Mission Control, Houston. This is Mission Control, Houston. 2 days, 23 hours, 26 minutes mission elapsed time. We're about to reacquire Columbia over the U.S., and we're expecting some good downlink television of the first time that the remote manipulator arm has actually attached onto a payload and deployed it in space. Should be getting that momentarily in the downlink television.
Columbia, Houston with you stateside. How do you read?
Okay, we're reading loud and clear, Sally. The PDP has been unberthed. It has been taken up to -Z axis and has been lowered down, and we're ready to reberth it.
Hey, that sounds great, Jack, and we should have live TV here in about 30 seconds. And Columbia, we're getting TV now from camera Delta.
Okay. Okay, you're getting a good picture on Delta, Sally?
That's affirmative, Gordo, we are. We're looking at the elbow camera right now, and now we're back on Delta.
Okay. Okay, I'm sliding it slowly aft at this time.
Roger, we see that, Gordo.
And now we're starting down.
Roger, looking good.
We got A and B gray with B is still wormfall.
Roger, we concur.
Okay, we got 3 grays. About that, sports fans. We got 3 grays.
Roger, and in record time.
Let's get it before it moves.
Roger that.
Okay, we got her latched.
Roger, Jack, we see it latched. And we're seeing a super picture here.
Well, Sally, I guess the first time you do that has to be a record. I logged from the time I was down at about 3 feet forward, I started to watch. It took 6 minutes to get in and get 3 grays.
6 minutes, we copy. Columbia, we're losing the picture through Mila now. We'll be with you through Bermuda for another 3 minutes.
Okay, we got some 70 millimeters of that, some 35s, and some DAC also, we hope. There's a great contrast in the lighting. It's very difficult to pick the right setting.
We understand that, Jack, and we got super pictures down here. We really appreciate it.
Sally, how do you hear me now?
Loud and clear, Gordo.
Okay, I'm downstairs. I just had to get a new battery for my wireless. It just quit all of a sudden there. I'll back up with you now.
Okay. Columbia, we're 40 seconds to LOS. Madrid's next in 6 minutes. And just for information, your interconnect looks good, and so does your thermal attitude.
Okay.
This is Mission Control, Houston, at 2 days, 23 hours, 36 minutes mission elapsed time. On that last pass over the United States, we had the live downlink television of the first time that the remote manipulator arm has been used to grapple a payload and remove it from its latched position. And astronaut Gordon Fullerton performed those maneuvers with the arm. And that is scheduled to be going on for a little bit longer. The crew is slightly ahead of the flight plan today. And the payload was satisfactorily rebirthed, which is obviously very important, as well as getting it unberthed. We'll be reacquiring signal in about 5 minutes, just as we pass over the southwestern edge of the Madrid tracking station region on orbit number 49. 2 days, 23 hours, 37 minutes mission elapsed time. This is Mission Control, Houston. This is Mission Control Houston at 2 days, 23 hours, 42 minutes mission elapsed time. We're coming up on acquisition of signal on orbit 49 here as we pass over the outer limits of the tracking station at Madrid. There will be a playback very shortly of the television that came down live on the last pass over the continental U.S. Standing by for acquisition of signal.
Columbia, Houston through Madrid for 3 minutes, over.
Okay, we got the PDP out in the breeze right now up at ZN600.
Roger, Gordo, copy. The PDP's out.
Having a couple times of release. The first MET of release was 2309, the second one at 2339.
Roger, 09 and 39.
Okay, notice current for the RDP is 34, vice 33, Sally, you want to proceed?
Stand by.
I'll be late, we last just turned to 33, I'm going to run with it.
Roger, go ahead. Columbia, we're 50 seconds LOS. Indian Ocean's next in 15 minutes. And, Gordo, we'd like to collect some thermal data on the cameras during the day today. And in order to do that, we'd like you to leave the cameras powered up through most of the day. We'll give you a call when we're set to have you turn them off.
Okay, right now they're all on except Charlie. Do you want it on?
Negative. We'd like you to leave Charlie off.
I'm sorry, Bravo is the good one that's on, and it's off also.
Okay, Gordo, we'd like Bravo powered up and leave it on.
Okay, it's on also.
Roger, talk to you in 14.
This is Mission Control, 2 days, 23 hours, 46 minutes mission elapsed time. Passed out of range of the Madrid station. We'll be reacquiring in about 13 and a half minutes over the Indian Ocean station. Gordon Fullerton, who is operating the remote manipulator arm, noted at the beginning of this pass that the PDP is out in the breeze, meaning that it has been deployed and it is out of the payload bay and is being held out in the area where it can do its best job in evaluating the environment around the orbiter. He noted that it was first released at mission elapsed time 23 hours and 9 minutes, or rather 2 days, 23 hours and 9 minutes. And the crew has been instructed to leave the TV cameras powered up during most of the day to gather some thermal data on their operation. 2 days, 23 hours, 47 minutes mission elapsed time. This is Mission Control Houston. Mission Control Houston, 3 days, 0 hours, 0 minutes, standing by for reacquisition through Indian Ocean Station.
Columbia, Houston through Indian Ocean for 4 minutes.
Okay, Indian Ocean, we're starting the control system eval, and we're in 2 GPC ops.
Roger, we see you in 2 GPCs, and we copy you're starting the control system evaluation. Columbia, with a minute 20 seconds left in this pass, just a reminder that we're looking for the start of the cryo H2 thermal test coming up in a few minutes. That'll be to take all the tank 1 heaters except H2 heater Bravo, H2 tank 1 heater Bravo to auto, and the tank 3 and 4 heaters to off.
Okay, I got that from the... I got it written in my checklist at 1.5. Is that okay? What want me to do now?
That's affirmative. We'd like to see that. And Columbia, want to make sure that you understand that H2 tanks 1 and 2 should be heater alpha only. And we're 10 seconds LOS. Yargady's next at 00 plus 16.
Mission Control Houston, 3 days, 0 hours, 5 minutes, mission elapsed time. Pilot Gordon Fullerton continuing to go through a pre-planned series of motions with a remote manipulator arm with the plasma diagnostic package attached to it. This is to conduct the loaded arm tests, evaluate how the arm performs with a payload attached to it. We'll be reacquiring signal in about 10.5 minutes. 3 days, 0 hours, 6 minutes mission elapsed time. This is Mission Control Houston. Mission Control Houston, 3 days, 0 hours, 16 minutes mission elapsed time. Standing by for reacquisition over Yargady in about 5 seconds.
Columbia Houston through Yargady for 6 minutes, over.
Clear, Sally. We got her out there in the wake standby position right now.
Roger, Gordo. Copy. You're in the wake standby position, and we assume you finished the control system test.
Affirmative.
Roger, that's good work.
Wake parameters on Spec 92. He averaged Odin and 32H. They're reading 37, 1, and 35 respectively, and none of them changed to any significance in moving from the original position out to the wake position, but I'll continue to watch them.
We copy that, Jack.
And if you'd take a look at the cryo heater configuration, I worked on them a little bit.
Okay, we'll do that when we get data over Aurora Valley in about 4 minutes.
Sorry about that. I'll catch you on this business someday when I become more qualified.
And Jack, we sent you a state vector up over Indian Ocean last pass, and we noticed also over Indian Ocean that we'd like to have you put the star trackers back in the track mode and resume Spec 21.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Sally, I see you were scheduled to do a VTR playback of the PDP burst. Did you get a chance to look at that when we were doing it live, or you still want the playback?
Stand by, Gordo. Columbia Houston, that was a good catch, Gordo. We consider that we've seen the PDP berthing live over the last stateside pass. We don't need you to run the VTR playback for us, and we'll use that pass to get some live TV. We'll use the bay cameras. We assume that with the wake standby going on, you won't be needing the bay cameras, and our INCO will pan and tilt and give us some good shots of the arm in the wake standby position, and hopefully the Earth in the background.
Okay, I'll just throw this cassette then.
Okay, the mid-aft PDRS DAC, we were unable to turn it off, and it just kept running, and now it has reached the end of its film, it says. So the switch is off, its lights are in run and into film. I propose we pull the circuit breaker on that. What do you say?
Roger, Jack, we understand that, and we concur. Pull the breaker. Columbia, we're 10 seconds to a short LOS over Australia.
Yes,
Mission Control Houston, 3 days, 0 hours, 23 minutes, mission elapsed time. Passing through a gap here of no communications between the two Australian tracking stations. And we'll be reacquiring in about 1 minute and 20 seconds over Aurora Valley. It was noted that as we have later planned in the flight plan for some videotape recorder playback, that we will instead, while passing over the U.S., opt for some live television downlink of the remote manipulator arm extended with the payload, with the plasma diagnostic package attached to it, and perhaps some good shots of the Earth as well as we go by that. And that will be coming up in about 28 minutes from now. In the meantime, in about another 45 seconds, we'll reacquire communication over Aurora Valley. 3 days, 0 hours, 24 minutes mission elapsed time. This is Mission Control, Houston.
Columbia, Houston, we're back with you through Aurora Valley.
Hello there.
And Jack, we think the cryo heater configuration looks good.
Okay, thank you. Valley, some general comments on the arm operation, if anybody's interested.
Go ahead. I think there are a lot of interested people down here.
Say it's as close to the air-bearing floor as it could be. The operation is smooth. There's definitely a little bit of flex and dynamics, but in the augmented modes, that's very minimized. For instance, I made some little half-inch corrections to center the guides up in the slot before raising the arm, and I was able to do that. Really no surprises. If there are any surprises, they're all pleasant. I'm really impressed with that piece of machinery.
Hey, that's great news, and we were impressed too. A piece of information that you might like. We saw when you were grappled to the PDP in the berth position, the joint angles all matched very closely with what we would have expected from those digitals. So that was good news too.
All right, I noticed that too, that the predicted were pretty close to the real McCoy. When we got the two grays, I just made a little pitch maneuver right while I was down at the bottom of the guides there and got the B micro switch to go gray, but the C lifted up and went barber pole, and then I just made a little twitch back, pitch down, and I got all three grades. Everything was absolutely straightforward as far as command and response.
That's great, Gordo. And for your information, the PDP is getting super data out there.
All right.
Columbia, we're 30 seconds to LOS. Stateside's next at 0052.
See you back in the USA.
Roger, and we'll be looking at live TV there.
This is Mission Control, Houston, at 3 days, 0 hours, 29 minutes mission elapsed time. We just had loss of signal through Aurora Valley in eastern Australia, passing out over the Pacific Ocean now, and we'll be reacquiring over the United States in about 23 minutes, where we expect to have some live television downlink showing the remote manipulator arm extended in space and holding on to a plasma diagnostic package. Gordon Fullerton, who is operating the arm, noted that it was as close to the air-bearing floor as it could be, referring to the earthbound testing of the arm and its systems in one gravity, where they use a very smooth, precisely ground and level floor to evaluate the operation of the arm on the Earth, not being able to evaluate it in zero gravity before we actually get it up and fly it. He noted that it was very smooth and there were no surprises, or if there were any surprises, they were all pleasant, and kept off those comments, saying that he was very impressed with that piece of machinery. Capcom Sally Ride also reported that the payloads people were saying we were getting very good data out of the plasma diagnostic package, which is extended up into the wake, the plasma wake up around the orbiter, which the orbiter creates as it moves through the ionosphere. 3 days, 0 hours, 30 minutes mission elapsed time. This is Mission Control, Houston. This is Mission Control Houston. We're about 50 minutes into the fourth day of the third Space Shuttle flight. And as we reacquire signal over the continental U.S. in just about 30 seconds, we should be seeing some very interesting downlink color television, about 4 minutes worth of the remote manipulator arm attached to the plasma diagnostic package and extended out above the spacecraft as the PDP evaluates the electrical characteristics of the wake area around the spacecraft. Standing by for voice contact momentarily, and the television will be coming a little while later.
Columbia, Houston's with you through Buckhorn.
Okay, loud and clear, Sally.
You're loud and clear also.
Notice that E average is up to 58 now, and 32H is around 44 to 50 for the PDP troops.
Roger, we copy, and we'll start looking at that too. Columbia, Houston, we're looking at your thermal attitude here over the States. Looks to us like we're going to need to tweak the roll angle a little bit, and we think the best way to do that is to change the discrete rate in DAP A4 to 0.134, vice 135.
Okay, I'll do that right now.
Okay, good.
Okay, how you like that?
Roger, Jack, that looks good to us. And we're 20 seconds to a short LOS over the States, and we'll pick up live TV over Mila.
Mission Control Houston, 3 days, 1 hour mission elapsed time. We now have the television picture downlink showing the remote manipulator arm.
Columbia, Houston, we're back with you, and we've got live TV now. We're looking at the PDP with the Earth in the background.
Okay.
Columbia, Houston, we just had a super TV pass over Mila. We sure are envious of the view you guys have up there.
The beach. Well, it's a spectacular one. I wish we had given you a little voice coverage. We were busy doing some other things, but looks like now it's kind of cloudy as we are on our descending path out over the Pacific, direction out over the Atlantic, heading on for the African continent.
Roger, Jack, and we didn't want to bother you in what you were doing. And we've got another 3 minutes left in this pass.
Just turn on the tire pressure switches.
Roger.
What you're looking at, of course, is the aft part of the Columbia open payload bay. The Canadian-built arm is bent back so that it has a camera on the elbow, which is showing you the forearm and the wrist, so to speak, of the manipulator arm with the plasma diagnostic package on the end of it. And down on the payload bay, you see the other components of the OSS payload and the environmental contamination monitor there. Of course, the tall vertical fin with the Holmes maneuvering system pods on either side, and you can just see the very center engine bell that was used during the boost. On either side of the arm, you see two shiny objects. Those are the radiators that are helping to keep the spacecraft cool. And, of course, the wing is right underneath that, and you can see the inboard ailerons right
lifted up, partly in the shade, partly in the sunlight, with a black stripe along the trailing edge.
Roger, Jack. Sure is a nice machine. And we're talking to you through Bermuda now, and no longer have a TV picture.
I should know it.
Columbia, we're 1 minute to LOS. Dakar is next at 1 plus 15.
Okay, 1 plus 50.
And thanks for the tour of the orbiter.
Yeah, did you get any of the voice at all with the TV, or was it not available?
Jack, I think that'll make a great show. Really went well.
Okay, if you remind us next time, we'll give you some voice for this.
Roger, we'll do that.
And I understand next pass over the States, you're standing by for some in-the-cabin type TV, is that correct?
Stand by, Jack. We'll check on that. And we'll give you an answer for that over Dakar in 5 minutes, Jack.
Okay.
Mission Control Houston, 3 days, 1 hour, 10 minutes mission elapsed time. Just passed out of range of the Bermuda tracking station over the States Pass. We had some very interesting downlink television of the RMS deploying the plasma diagnostic package with the Earth in the background. And astronaut Jack Lousma giving us a guided tour there, a little bit belatedly after we had lost our television picture, but nevertheless an interesting review of the type of things that we had seen. We'll be reacquiring in about 4 minutes over Dakar on the western coast of Africa. Columbia now about midway over the Atlantic Ocean in its 50th orbit. On this, the fourth flight day, about 1 hour and 11 minutes into the fourth flight day. This is Mission Control Houston. Mission Control, 3 days, 1 hour, 15 minutes mission elapsed time. Standing by for reacquisition of signal with Columbia through Dakar.
Columbia, Houston through Dakar for 7 minutes. Over.
Okay, we got you at Dakar.
We got you too, Jack.
I guess that in-the-cabin TV pass I was talking about, not until about 410, 420, right in that neighborhood.
Roger, Jack. I think the next stateside TV is going to be of PDP operations.
Right, I see it.
And Jack, over the States, while we were operating the cameras for you, we had some trouble with camera Bravo. We couldn't get it to zoom. We wonder if you could try the zoom function on Bravo for us and find out whether you can control it.
Okay. That's a negative. I can pan and tilt, but no zoom.
Roger, we copy. Columbia, I've got a couple notes for you this pass.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, the first is in regard to the GPCs. After the PRCS interaction test, we've changed our mind and we just soon go back to the single G2 GPC ops. And that'll be when you're finished with the RMS PRCS interaction test.
Okay, I'll do that.
And the other note has to do with the flash of apps. We haven't used any water through the flash of apps the whole flight, and we'd like you to get those off. Just save a little bit of power.
Okay, I think Pri A is the only one that's on, is it?
That's affirmative. What we'd like you to do is turn off flash of app controller primary A. Take that one off. And also on panel L1, the topping of app heater, left nozzle, right nozzle, and duct. All three to off, OFF.
Okay, all the evaporators and all of their heaters are off.
Roger. And both of those are we decided that there's no sense using up more cryo than we have to.
Where for that? I gave you a little bit of DFI tire pressure readout there. Did you get it back there at States?
That's affirmative, Jack. We got that.
Okay, I got it off again.
Roger. And Jack, just to verify, the next live TV pass will be the next stateside pass. And what we'd like on that is views of the orbiter bay and the PDP operations from the bay CCTVs. And if you could operate those cameras for us while you're monitoring the auto sequences and maybe give us some visual tour of the bay and the PDP, we'd appreciate that.
Okay, you want us to operate both the elbow and the delta cameras, right?
Whatever views you think would be best.
Okay, and you're looking for RMS and payload bay.
That's correct, and in particular, the PDP.
Okay.
Columbia, we're 30 seconds LOS. Botswana's next at 1 plus 33.
33.
Mission Control Houston, 3 days, 1 hour, 22 minutes mission elapsed time. Just had loss of signal through Dakar. Be reacquiring in about 10 minutes over Botswana. Crew continues to be operating on the timeline, or perhaps a little bit ahead. 3 days, 1 hour, 23 minutes mission elapsed time. This is Mission Control Houston.
Columbia, Houston through Botswana for 3.
Hey, Sally, Bob Fair. Moving her up to the ICE for the interaction test now.
Roger, and we'll leave you alone. Columbia, we're 20 seconds LOS. Yargady's next in 14.
Roger.
Mission Control Houston, 3 days, 1 hour, 38 minutes mission elapsed time on the 50th orbit. Columbia has just passed out of range of the Botswana tracking station. And Gordon Fullerton reported that he is about to proceed with the remote manipulator arm reaction control system interaction test. During that test, the major purpose of that is to see how the arm reacts when it is extended and loaded and the reaction control system jets are fired. The arm is maneuvered to a prescribed location, and then both the normal and the vernier jets are used at different times, and the reaction of the arm is observed to see how it is affected by the firing of these reaction control jets. And it is probable that the system will continue to be used in the slow speed, and then perhaps if it fails at some point during the flight, that the backup system of waste containment would be initiated at that time. 3 days, 1 hour, 40 minutes mission elapsed time. This is Mission Control Houston. Mission Control Houston, standing by for acquisition of signal through Yargady.
Columbia, Houston through Yargady for 7 minutes. Standing by.
Sally, we're working on column 3. It's quite a spectacular sight to see those big jets fire.
Roger, copy column 3.
Mission Control Houston, 3 days, 1 hour, 52 minutes mission elapsed time. We currently have acquisition through Yargady, but the mission control room is avoiding contacting the crew now, allowing Gordon Fullerton to continue concentrating on his task of proceeding with the remote manipulator arm interactions with the reaction control system. That is a checkout to determine what the motion reactions are of the arm when it is deployed with a payload attached and the reaction control system jets are fired. Fullerton made a comment just a few moments ago that it was quite a spectacular sight to see those big jets fire, referring to the normal size reaction control system jets, which other crew members in the past, particularly on STS-1, John Young referred to as like howitzers going off. Those jets are used to keep the attitude stable of the spacecraft and to maneuver it in its attitude while in orbit. 3 days, 1 hour, 54 minutes mission elapsed time. This is Mission Control, Houston.
Columbia, we're 10 seconds to a 1-minute LOS over Australia.
Mission Control, Houston, 3 days, 1 hour, 58 minutes mission elapsed time. Brief LOS period here between Yargady and Auroral. There will be an informal science briefing in room 135 at 12 o'clock, building 2, the press conference room, discussing the microabrasion foil experiment and the induced atmosphere experiment. These will be local Houston area only and will not be carried on the NASA circuits. 3 days, 1 hour, 59 minutes mission elapsed time. This is Mission Control, Houston.
Columbia, we're back with you for a minute and a half.
Hey, Sally, we completed the test. We used camera Delta instead of Bravo. Bravo with its lack of zoom, and it looked like Delta had a lot better view on it for looking at the dynamics. I hope that's okay for the data reducers.
That sounds fine, Gordo, and I do have one note on the B field map coming up.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, we'd like you to start that at 0220 rather than when it's called out in the cap, and that'll get it started before the statesides pass and have it in work over the states.
Okay, start that at 0220.
That's firm. That's about 20 minutes from now. And we're 20 seconds to LOS. Hawaii's next at 0215.
Okay. Okay, I put a roll angle of 90 in, and I'm going to start it at the ascending node, which will be 20847. You concur?
Jack, check the ascending node. That's for the wrong day. And Columbia, you can ignore evaporator messages.
Mission Control, Houston, 3 days, 2 hours, 1 minute mission elapsed time. Just had loss of signal through Auroral Valley. We'll be reacquiring at Hawaii in about 15 minutes. Gordon Fullerton reported that he has completed the interaction test between the remote manipulator system and the RCS. 3 days, 2 hours, 1 minute mission elapsed time. This is Mission Control, Houston. This is Mission Control, Houston, 3 days, 2 hours, 15 minutes mission elapsed time. Standing by in about 10 seconds for reacquisition with Columbia over Hawaii.
Columbia, Houston with you through Hawaii for 7 minutes, over.
Hey, got you loud and clear, Sally.
You're loud and clear also, Gordo.
And if you don't have anything further to talk about for the moment, we got something for you.
Aloha to you too, Columbia. In Columbia, Houston, we appreciate the music. We've got a couple notes for you this pass.
Well, you sure like the music. Did that come over modulated to you, or was it about right?
A little overmodulated, but it was nice.
Go ahead with the notes.
Okay, the first is we'd like to tweak up your attitude a little bit. We think that at 2 plus 20, that's in just a couple minutes, you ought to have a roll of 29.0 degrees.
Okay.
Okay? And the DAP should, when you do that, we'd like you also to change DAP A4 back to 0.135.
Okay.
And Columbia, also, just a reminder, we'd like you back in the 1G2 GPC configuration now that the PRCS test is complete.
Yeah, I was about to do that when Hawaii got here.
Okay, we understand. And I've got a couple words on the WCS.
I don't think I'm ever going to make that roll attitude in time. You'll have to give us one that's a little further downstream, I think, Sally.
Roger, Jack, we'll work on that, and we noticed that you loaded 290 in the roll. And we'll give you something a little later this pass. Columbia, Houston, Jack, we'd like you to recheck that roll angle. That should be 29.0 rather than 290.
Okay. But that time has passed already, so I'll have to have another one.
Roger. Okay, Jack, and how about a roll of 300? That's 300 at 2 hours and 30 minutes.
All right, that sounds good. We'll go there. Thank you.
Okay, good. And Gordo, if it's convenient, we've got a quick troubleshooting procedure that you can try between Hawaii and the States to regain the zoom on camera Bravo.
Okay.
Okay, and that procedure will just be to turn camera Bravo off OFF for 10 seconds, and then turn the power back on, and try the zoom and see if that recovers it.
Okay.
And as far as the WCS is concerned, we thought about your idea of putting water into the slinger down in the WCS, and we don't recommend that. We think that's not a good idea. We think that the bag that you probably have hung up in there is a cloth bag. It won't dissolve in the water, and that the water might just add to the problem. If the water freezes, it could make the problem worse.
Okay.
And we've got 50 seconds left in this pass. We'll talk to you at Buckhorn in 3.5 minutes. And just a reminder on the TV, we may not have told you we're scheduling the live TV for Mila only. And I'll give you a call when we've got a good picture and we're locked up over Mila.
Okay. Gotcha.
This is Mission Control Houston at 3 days, 2 hours, 23 minutes mission elapsed time. We've had loss of signal through the Hawaii station. We'll be reacquiring through Buckhorn in about 2 minutes, according to the timeline, and the crew has been very closely adhering to the timeline. Colonel Lausma is due to be preparing the meal, while Gordon Fullerton continues with his remote manipulator system activities and mapping the plasma region around the orbiter with the plasma diagnostic package. 3 days, 2 hours, 23 minutes mission elapsed time. This is Mission Control Houston. Mission Control Houston, 3 days, 2 hours, 25 minutes. Standing by for reacquisition of signal over the United States. When we pass over the Mila tracking station, we will be seeing some downlink television of the plasma diagnostic package operations. But that will be sometime after we've already had voice contact over the western United States.
Columbia, Houston, with you stateside through Buckhorn.
Okay, we got Channel 8.
Roger, Gordo, you're loud and clear. And the teleprinter message that we sent up over Hawaii was the entry weather.
Roger.
Columbia, we see that you're back in the 1 GNC GPC configuration, and you're go for the item 48s to SM and GNC anytime.
Thank you.
And Jack, just a reminder, after the ops transition, we need to put the trackers back in the track mode and resume Spec 21.
Okay. I think we got the wrong body vector in here, don't we? So we need body vector 2.
Stand by. Columbia, Houston, we concur. It should be body vector 2.
And we're not quite going to make that roll angle that you wanted. You're going to have to shoot just a little further downstream and roll. You got another one?
Stand by. Columbia, Houston, Jack, it looks to us like you're going to get close enough for the 2+30.
Okay. Maybe I'll let it over-roll just a little bit and then go to aorta vernier, and that'll hit it about right.
Okay. And Jack, we think you can start it now.
Okay.
Columbia, for information, we're about 3 minutes from Mila acquisition, and I've got some FPEG start times to read up that you can copy in the PDRS checklist, if you've got that handy.
Second, Sally.
And that's on page 2-51 of the PDRS checklist.
Okay, I'm looking at 2-51, Sally, go ahead.
Okay, I'll read you the times first. They're all on day 3. Run number 1 is at 04:35. Run number 2 at 05:00. Run number 3 at 05:31. Run A, all 3 are sequence 8. Run B, Bravo, are all 3 sequence 9. VTR is required on numbers 1 and 2 only.
435, 500, and 0531, sequence A is sequence 8, and B is 9, and 1 and 2 is requiring VTR.
Good readback. And Jack, we'd like you to be using camera alpha for those rather than camera delta. We think we can get better pictures with the black and white camera.
Okay.
Columbia, Houston, we're over the White Sands S-band station right now. We'd like to get a voice check if we could.
Okay, short count follows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. How do you read through White Sands, Tulip Peak?
You're loud and clear, Jack. And we're on Mila now and getting good TV.
Okay.
And for your information, we're looking at camera delta. Looks real good.
Okay, we're there at 2093, or not quite, so I'll have to tweak it up, but suppose.
Okay, you want some voice of this, Sally?
Sure, that'd be great, Jack.
Okay, Gerdo's picked up the PDP, the plasma diagnostic package. You can see it there on the arm. And it's sort of resting just above the payload bay. I'll try to swing the camera down so that we don't get quite so much background in there. You can see more in the payload bay. Okay, in the foreground, you can see a big silver and golden colored box. That's the thermal canister experiment. And just ahead of that, you can see two solar experiments, which we'll use when they point top of the sun, the X-ray polarimeter and the solar irradiance monitor. Would you rather have us go to the elbow camera and take a look down?
It's your choice, Jack. Whichever you think would look good to us. And Jack, this is really a fantastic shot.
Okay, there you have the elbow camera pointing down the forearm of the remote manipulator system, and it's latched onto the PDP. As you can see, the circular thing at the very bottom of it. But down there in the payload bay, you can also make out the silver and golden colored box, which is a thermal canister experiment. On top of that, there's a micrometeorite collector.
Okay, I interrupted Jack and put him to work, logging some of the scientific data that we're supposed to get while we're at this point. And as soon as he gets those numbers logged, then we're going to move on in the sequence to the next automatic point.
Roger, Gordo, the payloads people appreciate you logging their data. In Columbia, Gordo, just for our information, were you able to regain the zoom on camera Bravo?
No, here we go though from point 93 in our automatic sequence on to the next point, point 94. You can see it's sliding to the port side of the vehicle. The answer to your question was negative. It seems to be hard broke.
Roger, we copy. And we're getting a good view of the arm in motion.
Okay, there's another shot of the payload.
Roger, and we'll have TV for about 1 more minute.
A good number of the experiments on this flight are designed to quantify the atmosphere around the orbiters so that future experimenters can better calibrate their instruments, and so they'll know what to plan on in terms of electrical potential on the orbiter and the contaminants in it, the environment around it, as well as several other properties of the orbiter, so that we'll be able to determine how good an experimental platform it really is. And so that's why we have most of these experiments on here for this flight, although there are others that are involved totally with basic research. The PDP that Gordo's moving right now is moving around in the finding out the fields of electromagnetic irradiation around the orbiter, so that we'll be able to track them and know where they are and what kind of interference might be involved in working some of the experiments in the future.
Roger, Jack, and the experimenters say that they're getting some real interesting data. And Jack, we're losing the TV picture now. We'll be with you for another 3.5 minutes through Bermuda, but no longer have live TV. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
In Columbia, we've got no more notes for you this pass, but we're interested in hearing what's for lunch.
You're interested in hearing?
Roger, Gordo, we were just looking at the menu down here and wondering what's for lunch.
Well, we haven't had time to look yet, but we're going to very soon, it says here.
Okay, our burrito order just came in here to the Moker, so we'll be enjoying lunch with you.
Okay, why don't you have one for us, too? That's one thing they don't include in our menu.
That may be lucky. Columbia, we're 40 seconds to LOS. Dakar and Ascension are next at 2:49.
Okay.
Mission Control Houston, 3 days, 2 hours, 45 minutes mission elapsed time. Just passed out of range of the pass over the States. Be reacquiring in about 4 minutes. through Dakar on the 51st orbit. During that last pass, we had live downlink television of RMS operations. Had 3 days, 2 hours, 45 minutes mission elapsed time. This is Mission Control, Houston. Mission Control, Houston, 3 days, 2 hours, 49 minutes. Standing by for acquisition of signal through Dakar in about 10 seconds.
Columbia, Houston, back with you through Dakar and Ascension for 10 minutes.
Okay, we're with you, Sally. Forgot to mention that we had several Spec 88 thermal evap messages. I think they're related to the temperature going low on the heaters. But I guess you presume that was going to happen when we turned them off, right?
That's affirmative, Jack. We apologize for those. We got a little bit ahead of ourselves and had you turn the heaters off before we had sent up some Timboos to readjust the limits.
Okay, well, they're sitting with down arrows and off-scale lows right now. I'll just leave them as is, huh?
That's affirmative. There's no action required on your part. And we have no messages for you this pass. We'll just sit back and let you enjoy lunch.
Is that better, Sally?
That's real nice, Jack.
I'm just trying to calibrate this thing, so you need to tell me when it's good and when it isn't.
Okay, it's overdriven just a little bit.
How's that?
Try it again, Jack. Jack, we're over a UHF site now. It may be better over S-band. We can hear it, but it's hard to make it out.
Okay, I kind of like that too.
Okay, we're coming up on Ascension in about a minute and a half. If you'll wait till then and shoot it to us again.
Okay, well, this is one of the most spectacular sights flying around the world, I think, that we're looking at now. We're moving into the darkness, and the edge of the limb of the Earth is very poorly defined. It goes gradually from the very dark blue of the Earth and fades into black, but there's no real definition. It's kind of like you're going out into nowhere, and it's one of the most interesting contrasts in flying space.
And we're over Ascension now, Jack. We've got S-band.
Okay, I was just describing how we're moving into the darkness now. Earth below us is dark. However, you can see the sun shining on some of the built-up clouds on the very sides. It's kind of reddish in color, but we're flying into an area which is not very well defined. It is a very poor gradation between what you see on the Earth and then the blackness of space. It's kind of a, I guess you might say, a lonely feeling, or a feeling of not knowing exactly where you're going because you can't define the edge of the Earth or see any stars yet.
That's an interesting observation, Jack. Sounds like a beautiful sight.
And I don't have a song called Blue Ascension, but let's try to calibrate this thing one more time.
Okay, go ahead. And Jack, even though we're getting S-band data, we're not getting S-band voice. You might check your comm configuration. You're coming down UHF only on voice.
Well, okay, we're air ground 1. Must be on the ground, Sally.
Roger, we'll look.
You interested in any of those B field numbers that we copied down?
Stand by. Yeah, Jack, we're interested in those. You could send them down.
Okay, I'll copy down Z mag, Y mag, and X mag in that order.
Roger, we got a minute and a half.
Okay, this will be easy. Point 93, high and low was the same. 55, 42, 37. Point 94, 58, 44, 39er. Point 95, 58, 47, 43. Point 96, 60, 48, 45.
We got that, Jack. Thanks a lot.
Okay, and I'm not totally happy with the roll attitude. I think it's a few degrees off. If you'd like to correct it, I'd be willing to do that.
Okay, let us look, and we may give you an update at Botswana. We've got 40 seconds left here, and we're coming up on Botswana at 3:04. That'll be 4 minutes.
Okay, and Gordo's got the PDP in the standby position.
Roger.
Control Houston, 3 days, 3 hours, 0 minutes mission elapsed time. Just passed out of range of the Ascension Island tracking station and will reacquire in about 3.5 minutes at Botswana.
Columbia, Houston through Botswana for 6.5 minutes.
Okay, we got you at Botswana.
Roger, Jack, and the answer to your question on the attitude and the roll, looks to us like the roll is a little bit off, but it's drifting back in the right direction, and we think that it's fine. No need to tweak it up. Columbia, Houston, we're 40 seconds to LOS. Yargety's next at 3:24.
Okay, Sally, did you copy our request for a medical conference?
Negative. Say again.
Hey, Ken, can you set up a medical conference for that pass?
That's affirmative. We can do that.
Okay, appreciate that. Other question was, later after lunch we have the PDP wake standby, plus or minus 10 minutes of orbital noon. Can you give me a good time for this day?
Good catch, Gordo. We'll do that.
This is Mission Control Houston at 3 days, 3 hours, and 12 minutes mission elapsed time. We just passed out of range of the Botswana tracking station and will be coming up over Yargety in about 12 minutes, where there will be a private medical conference between the crew and the surgeon here in Mission Control. Crew is scheduled to be having their noon meal right about now. And we're in the 51st orbit, just having passed over the southern tip of Africa. 3 days, 3 hours, 12 minutes mission elapsed time. This is Mission Control Houston. Mission Control Houston, 3 days, 3 hours, 25 minutes mission elapsed time. We are within range of the Yargety tracking station now, where the crew is scheduled to have a private medical conference with the surgeon in Mission Control. Mission Control Houston at 3 days, 3 hours, 49 minutes mission elapsed time. We'll be reacquiring signal with Columbia over Hawaii in about 20 seconds.
Columbia, Houston through Hawaii for 5.5 minutes.
Okay, we're with you in Hawaii, Sally.
We're with you, Jack, and piece of information that Gordo requested, noon on this orbit is at 0403.
Okay, I got it.
Sally, if we're interpreting the checklist right, we need to get to the wake standby point right now. Is that correct?
Stand by, Gordo. That's affirmative, Gordo. We'd like you to start there now.
Okay.
Columbia, we're not receiving S-band downlink. We'd like you to check the configuration of your ATUs.
Okay, that ought to be better now.
Okay, thank you. Columbia, Houston, we want to make sure that you've had a rev or so of relaxation and time to prepare and eat a meal. If you haven't, there's no reason to rush into the joint VCAP PDP beam search. We're willing to slide that and let you get some lunch.
Okay, we'll call you back.
Roger.
We're now at the wake standby point.
We see you there. And Gordo, that's a fine place to leave the arm. Just let it sit there and collect data.
Roger.
Columbia, we're 30 seconds LOS. Stateside's next in 3 minutes.
Okay, I'll be there in 3 minutes, and we sure need to have a perfect attitude for this VCAP PDP beam search coming up, I think. So if you got to tweak it up, well, let me know.
That's firm, Jack, and we think your attitude looks good.
Well, thanks.
Mission Control Houston, 3 days, 3 hours, 56 minutes mission elapsed time. We have loss of signal through the Hawaii station and will be reacquiring in a pass over the United States in about 2 minutes and 45 seconds. This is Mission Control Houston at 3 days, 3 hours, 58 minutes mission elapsed time. On that recent pass over the Yargati tracking station in Australia, the crew had a medical conference with the surgeon. And following that conference, the surgeon has reported that the conference related to a request from Gordon Fullerton, who reported a feeling of fullness in his abdomen, probably due to gas, and asked the surgeon what in the medical kit he could use. The surgeon recommended that he use the Mylanta, which is carried on board the shuttle medical kit. 3 days, 3 hours, 59 minutes mission elapsed time. This is Mission Control Houston.
Columbia, Houston, back with you through the States.
Roger.
And Gordo, we have an update to the RMS PDP ops for the afternoon. We'd like you to delete run number 1 in the joint beam search.
Delete, say again, what?
Roger, we'd like you to delete run number 1 in the joint VCAP PDP beam search and stay in the PDP wake standby attitude until run number 2, which occurs at 0500 hours.
Okay, that says start run number 2 at 0500 and delete number 1.
That's affirmative. Just delete number 1.
Okay, and let us know when you're ready for the television.
Columbia, Houston, it looks like we made a mistake down here. We believe that the TV is scheduled for the next stateside pass 1 rev from now, rather than this pass. And we apologize if we mixed you up.
No problem. We kind of wondered about that too, but we're just gliding over San Francisco right now. And it's a little cloudy to the south of Frisco, but it's pretty nice in the San Joaquin Valley.
Oh, I'm sorry we're missing the view.
We got some, we've got the TV up and running if you want to tag it.
I'm afraid that the ground station's not configured for TV. We're dumping the recorders now.
All right. Okay, now we're going over Lake Powell. Favorite place of friends of mine from Phoenix. Good fishing. Little wispy clouds over that area today, but it sure is a beautifully painted desert.
Roger, Jack, and I think Joe Henry's listening too, and he probably agrees with the good fishing.
Well, we just came over the Continental Divide, Sally. Looks like we're heading through eastern Colorado and out across the heartland of America and all the many farmers' fields that take such good care of us.
Roger, Jack.
Well, we just crossed the Mississippi River, Sally. Looks like there's a lot of weather over the country today.
You've probably got the best view of it, Jack.
Yeah, there's no trouble with air traffic control up here either.
Roger that.
We're all traffic controllers. Yeah, looks like we're just going south of Atlanta and crossing the coast somewhere around the Carolinas.
Roger. And Jack, for your information, next stateside pass you'll be coming directly over Houston. And it looks like the weather's clearing out a little here. You may be able to see us.
Okay, get on the rope and wave. I'll take your picture.
The deal. Columbia, we're 30 seconds LOS. Ascension's next in 10 minutes.
Okay.
Mission Control Houston at 3 days, 4 hours, 18 minutes mission elapsed time. Just passed out of range of the continental United States tracking stations and are crossing out over the Atlantic Ocean at the present time. Becoming within range of the Ascension Island tracking station in about 10.5 minutes. Been a slight swap around in the crew timeline. The crew, when they had been earlier scheduled to have their meal, to begin that about an hour and a half ago, ended up continuing on with some work, and the meal period is now set for the current hour, 3 days and 4 hours to 3 days and 5 hours mission elapsed time, after which time they will be operating the plasma diagnostic package with the vehicle charging and potential experiment in an activity to detect the condition of the environment around the orbiter. 3 days, 4 hours, 19 minutes mission elapsed time. This is Mission Control Houston.
Columbia, Houston through Ascension for 5 minutes. Over.
I take it that the recorders are running so that I can answer a question you had related to message 22 after Ascension.
That's affirmative, Jack. The recorders, we will be recording voice. Columbia, we're 30 seconds to LOS. Botswana is next at 4:40. And Jack, just a reminder to record voice, you need to have the ICOM A on.
Okay, and understand the next pass over the States will be a TV pass of inside the cabin while we're doing the P2P VCAP. Is that correct?
That's affirmative, Jack. And we'll be getting both Goldstone and Mila.
Okay, then at some later date you wish to do so, I'm prepared to give you a tour of the instruments back in the payload bay from the elbow camera.
Hey, sounds great. We'll plan that for some time later in the flight.
Mission Control Houston, 3 days, 4 hours, 34 minutes mission elapsed time, just passed out of range of the Ascension Island tracking station, and we'll have a brief pass over Botswana in southern Africa in about 5.5 minutes. Crew still has about 20 minutes left in their meal period, and then we'll begin some of their remote manipulator arm plasma diagnostic package activities.
Columbia, Houston through Botswana for 3 minutes, over.
Okay, we're with you at Botswana.
Roger, Jack, and reference the TV, next stateside TV pass. We've been talking it over, and we'd like to make it your choice what you show us, either a tour of the bay, which should be fine, or a combination of inside views and PDP operations as was originally scheduled, or if you'd like, we can run the cameras from the ground.
Okay, why don't we just take the combination? I don't think we can amuse you with inside the cockpit for 10 minutes. Maybe we can do that for a few minutes and then head outdoors and we can look at the experiments.
Okay, that sounds good.
It kind of depends on how busy we get inside. I'm going to be assisting here, and we'll have to play it by ear, I guess.
Hey, that's fine, and if you change your mind or have any changes to the plan, just let us know, and we'll take care of it.
Okay, super.
Columbia, we're 1 minute to LOS. Yargety's next at 4:58. And Jack, we noticed that after the ops mode recall a little while ago, we still need to get the star trackers back to the track mode and resume Spec 21.
Okay, I'll take care of that. And there's a message 22 reply on the recorder.
Roger, we copy that. And Jack, we will also need to have you cycle the shutters. And do you have a time for when you started the response?
Yeah, just after we left Ascension.
Roger, thanks a lot. We'll get that.
Mission Control Houston at 3 days, 4 hours, 43 minutes mission elapsed time. Just passed out of range of the Botswana tracking station, and we'll be reacquiring again briefly over Yargety, about 14.5 minutes. Crew is due to resume their remote manipulator arm activities in about 15 minutes at the end of the scheduled meal period. 3 days, 4 hours, 44 minutes mission elapsed time. This is Mission Control Houston. This is Mission Control Houston at 3 days, 4 hours, 57 minutes mission elapsed time. In about 1 minute, we'll be passing over the Yargety station in Western Australia. Very shortly, the crew is scheduled to begin the activities involving the vehicle charging and potential experiment using the plasma diagnostic package mounted on the end of the remote manipulator arm and maneuvering that arm through a set series of motions in order to determine where it encounters the beam sent up by the vehicle charging and potential experiment. This is to help determine the effects of the plasma wake on that beam as the orbiter passes through this area. Should be acquiring communications in about 10 seconds. This is Mission Control Houston.
Columbia, Houston through Yargety for 5 minutes, over.
Sally, we're just checking the wrist roll. Had to come around all the way around to get the wrist roll right. Getting ready to press on with sequence 8.
Roger, sounds like you're right on time.
Hey, Sally, we can see the filament loud and clear, but no beam. And we're starting from 177, heading for 178 now.
Roger, Gordo, we copy. Columbia, we're 30 seconds LOS. Guam is next at 5 plus 10.
Okay.
This is Mission Control Houston at 3 days, 5 hours, 4 minutes mission elapsed time. On that pass over Yargady, Gordon Fullerton reported that he has begun maneuvering the remote manipulator arm through its planned sequence of attitudes and positions in attempting to locate the beam projected by the vehicle charging and potential experiment and determining how that beam is deflected by the plasma wake created by the orbiter. We will be reacquiring Columbia in about 6 minutes over the Guam station. 3 days, 5 hours, 4 minutes mission elapsed time. This is Mission Control Houston. Mission Control Houston, standing by to reacquire signal with Columbia through Guam.
Columbia, Houston through Guam for 6.5 minutes.
Okay, Sally, just happened to notice that the PDP high voltage talkback went barber pole. I'm not sure exactly when, but I looked over there about 30 seconds ago and it was.
Roger, we copy, Gordo. Let us look at it for a minute. Columbia, Houston, we think what happened with the high voltage talkback is that when you got the PDP in the beam, the beam just tripped it off. There's a procedure for you to reset the high voltage on page 2-54 of the PDRS checklist.
Okay, we're at the end of the sequence and almost out of time, so I'll have to watch it closer next time. I was aware of that, but not sure how long it... That be done immediately upon when we notice when it trips off?
That's affirmative, Gordo. As soon as you notice, it'd be a good idea to do it. And for information, we saw this happen earlier in the day, and it automatically reset then, but now you're in control of it.
Okay.
Columbia, Houston, when there's somebody down on the mid-deck, there's a teleprinter message we just sent up to you.
Okay, heard it.
Columbia, with a minute 15 seconds left in Guam Pass, we've got one more trick up our sleeves to try and get the camera Bravo zoom back.
That's a good time to try it.
Roger, what we'd like you to do is turn the power off for 10 seconds, then back on, which we did before. And then we'd like you to try and hold the focus to far for at least 30 seconds while you're simultaneously holding the zoom in. And the hope is that the vibration of the focus driving into the stop will vibrate the zoom motor.
Okay, I'll try that.
Columbia, we're 20 seconds to LOS. We may pick you up briefly UHF only over Hawaii. If not, we'll see you stateside for some live TV.
Okay, we'll see you either place.
Mission Control Houston at 3 days, 5 hours, 17 minutes mission elapsed time. Just had loss of signal through the Guam tracking station. And there's a possibility we may have about a minute worth of voice contact as we pass on the outside edge of the Hawaii station. And then begin a track over the United States. Gordon Fullerton was just about to begin a troubleshooting procedure on one of the payload bay cameras that experienced a failure in its zoom mechanism earlier, and you will probably be working on that momentarily. They have also been conducting continuation of the vehicle charging and potential beam search. That's been going on for some time now, and I believe Fullerton reported that that was nearly concluded. As we pass over the United States on orbit 53, the Columbia will be crossing the Texas coast. That should be in about 20 minutes, and there's not a lot of cloud cover at that point, and the vehicle will be passing about 5 miles north of the coastal town of Rockport. 3 days, 5 hours, 19 minutes mission elapsed time. This is Mission Control, Houston.
Columbia, Houston through Hawaii. How do you read?
Houston, we had you faded in the middle.
Roger, Gordo, you're broken also. And Columbia, how do you read now?
Breaking up pretty bad, Sally.
Roger, we'll catch you at the States, and that's at 5:33.
Mission Control, Houston, 3 days, 5 hours, 26 minutes mission elapsed time. Just bare contact with the Columbia on the outside range of the Hawaii tracking station. The UHF transmission was not very understandable there as they went by the edge of that boundary, and they will be passing, beginning a pass over the western United States in about 6.5 minutes. 3 days, 5 hours, 27 minutes mission elapsed time. This is Mission Control, Houston. This is Mission Control, Houston, at 3 days, 5 hours, 32 minutes mission elapsed time. We're about to pass over the western United States, where we will have some live downlink television, primarily of inside the cabin, as well as the beam search activity going on with the remote manipulator arm. After that, there will be some unscheduled video downlinked, which had been downlinked and recorded over Hawaii as the crew passed over that general area. And that will probably be of preparation for the beam search activity being conducted now. Standing by for acquisition of signal over the western United States. This is Mission Control, Houston.
Columbia, Houston through Buckhorn.
Hey, Sally, we're whipping along through sequence 8 right now.
Roger that, and we'll be getting TV when we acquire Goldstone in 30 or 40 seconds. And I have a few notes for you when you've got a chance, Gordo.
Just a minute, we're kind of in the middle of it here.
That's fine, whenever it's convenient. And we are getting TV now. Really nice shot of the arm. And we see you going over the coast of California.
Okay. Got the flight deck camera set up, so not that it's anything to recommend in the way of a scene, but you can select it if you're interested.
Roger, we're looking inside right now.
Down there, how are you?
Pretty good. Like your bumper sticker.
Do you see this one? I don't know if you can see that one or not, Sally. It says Marine since 1775, unhampered by progress.
Chalk one up for the PLT.
Look at his later. Keeping a closer eye on the PDP high voltage. So far it's hanging in there.
Roger. And Gordo, we can see your equal time bumper sticker by the mission timer.
Okay. They told him if he joined the Air Force, he'd rise to great heights.
Right now, Sally, looks like you're looking at the IECM, the Induced Environment Contamination Monitor from Marshall Space Flight Center. Now you're looking down on the whole payload. Looks like now you're looking back up at the PDP as it's making its search across the spacecraft for its the electron beam. You guys sure jump around with that camera, don't you?
We're trying to stay one step ahead of you, Jack.
Keeps you a little busy right here in the cockpit, too. We're getting over to the start of sequence 9 now.
Roger, and Jack, we were just temporarily cycling through all the cameras to get the temperature readings on them.
Okay. Okay, now we're starting on automatic sequence 3, which takes it on a side-to-side fan-shaped pattern to look for the beam in that direction.
Okay, we'll take a look at that.
You can see it's kind of cloudy down below the western states, but looks like we're coming up on some clear area very shortly.
Anyway, Sally, that procedure to try to fix the zoom on camera Bravo was a failure.
That's too bad. Thanks for trying for us.
Looks like we just passed north of Phoenix.
That's affirmative, Jack. And it looks to us like on this orbit you're going to be passing about 5 miles north of Rockford, right when you go over the coastline in Texas.
Good, we'll say howdy.
Okay, you ought to be able to see us. The weather's not too bad.
Sally, I see the PDP have only stripped off. I'm going to try to reset it.
Roger, Gordo. And Columbia, we've lost a picture through Goldstone. We'll pick it up when we acquire Mila.
It just took 2 tries to get it to go back on, but it's on now.
Roger, Gordo. It looked like it tripped off when it went through the beam again.
How you doing with the TV, Sally?
We should have it back in a couple seconds, Jack. I'll give you a call. And Jack, we've got a good picture now through Mila. We're looking at camera Delta.
Sally, I got a suggestion.
Go ahead.
We have about 15 minutes here till the start of the EMI search. How would it be I just take orbiter-loaded control here and manually sweep back and forth across where we're guessing the beam is and take a little data?
Stand by. Columbia, Gordo, that sounds like a good idea. Why don't you press ahead?
Okay.
Okay, now what Gordo's going to do is bring the plasma diagnostic package down near the electron generator. The electron generator, if we have some particles nearby, ought to ionize some of those particles and cause a beam that we could see if it were in the darkness. But it ought to be able to detect that beam if he is able to locate it, because it's related to the magnetic field. And we know about where the magnetic field is, and I have some instruments that I can watch to see if he gets it. Okay, he's registering an increase in the 1 kilovolt electron. Okay, Gordo, it's increasing now. Oh, no, it went away. You were in it. Now go back. Okay, you're not in it yet.
And Jack, it looks to us like the beam just went off.
Hey, sure enough, it went off after the end of its 14-minute sequence.
Says here the filament high voltage in run is still in progress.
Roger. We think the sequencer turned the beam off.
Say again?
We think that the sequencer turned the beam off. It'll come back on in about 5 minutes.
Okay, I better recycle in.
And Gordo, we've got 1.5 minutes left in this pass. I'd like to give you the AOS time for the EMI search.
Stand by.
Okay, and that'll be, you can copy that on page 2-25 of the PDRS checklist.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, Guam is the site, 0644. Next is Buckhorn, 0706.
That off?
That's affirmed. And Columbia, at this time, we'd like you to exercise the FPEG safing procedure, which is on flight supplement page 2-60 of the PDRS checklist.
Okay, I already did that, Sally, and I got filament high voltage and run all off.
Okay, we copy. Thank you, Jack. And 20 seconds to LOS. Botswana's next at 6:15, and thanks a lot for the good show.
Okay, well, see you next pass.
Roger that.
Are you still taking TV, or should I go ahead and turn it off, Sally?
Jack, we just lost TV. Thanks.
This is Mission Control, Houston, at 3 days, 5 hours, 49 minutes mission elapsed time. Just completed that pass over the United States in a long period of downlink TV. We'll be out of contact with Columbia now for about the next 26 minutes as we swing all the way around down the southern tip of Africa. And the announcement earlier about the additional unscheduled video that had been downlinked and recorded over Hawaii, that video will not be replayed at this time. At 3 days, 5 hours, 49 minutes mission elapsed time, this is Mission Control, Houston. Mission Control, Houston, 3 days, 6 hours, 14 minutes mission elapsed time. We're about to acquire signal over the Botswana station. Just a very brief pass over the edge.
Columbia, Houston through Botswana for 1 minute. How do you read?
Okay, loud and clear. We're doing the EMI search, Sally.
Roger, we copy, Jack. And last stateside pass, we noticed that the temperature on the elbow camera was getting close to the upper limit. If you get that alarm, you can shut it off. And if you're not using the camera now, go ahead and take it down now.
Okay, we'll turn off the elbow camera.
Okay, good. We're 20 seconds from LOS, and Guam is next in half an hour.
We'll see you at Guam.
Well, we noticed shortly after starting this EMI search pattern that the filament was on the FPEG, and also that the PDP high voltage tripped off. I reset the high voltage on the PDP. Is that the proper thing to do?
Stand by. That's affirmative, Gordo. You did the right thing.
Mission Control, Houston, 3 days, 6 hours, 16 minutes mission elapsed time. Just had that very brief pass over the southern edge of the reach of the Botswana tracking station. It'll be almost a half an hour again before we reacquire Columbia over Guam, getting to that time of day where the orbit track has precessed westward and misses an awful lot of the tracking stations at this time of day, and we end up with very long loss of signal periods. Gordon Fullerton indicated that they were proceeding with the plasma diagnostic package EMI search, that is a moving of the plasma diagnostic package detection equipment to various locations around the vehicle to determine what is the type and the range of the electromagnetic interference around the spacecraft generated by the S-band equipment, the communications equipment, and the various other things that produce that type of electromagnetic field. At 3 days, 6 hours, 18 minutes mission elapsed time. This is Mission Control, Houston. Mission Control, Houston, 3 days, 6 hours, 45 minutes mission elapsed time. We're about to reacquire briefly over the Guam tracking station in about 10 seconds or so.
Columbia, Houston through Guam for 4 minutes, over.
Okay, Sally, we're completed sequence 4 there. We're getting set up for sequence 5. 2 or 3 times during that run, the PDP high voltage tripped off, and I kept resetting it. Does that figure?
Stand by, Gordo.
Right now it's tripped off, and I have not reset it until I talk to you.
Columbia, Houston, the only thing we've got left today is the EMI search, and we suggest you not bother resetting the high voltage any further. It appears to be tripping off when you go through the electron beam.
Mission Control, Houston, 3 days, 6 hours, 49 minutes mission elapsed time. Passed out of range of the Guam tracking station, and be about another 17 minutes before we reacquire briefly over the western United States. The crew is still performing several of the steps in the electromagnetic interference search using the plasma diagnostic package. That will probably continue for about another 20 minutes or so before they are ready to put the payload away back in the to rebirth it back in the payload bay and latch it down for the night. 3 days, 6 hours, 50 minutes mission elapsed time. This is Mission Control.
Columbia, Houston, we're 30 seconds to LOS. Stateside's next at 7:07.
Buckhorn contact, Houston contact at ground 1.
Buckhorn contact, you're loud and clear.
I'll read you the same, Buckhorn. Let's go to air ground 2. Buck, Houston, air ground 2.
You're loud and clear.
Okay, I'll give you key and modulation SIMO on 1 and 2.
Okay, stand by. Let me check, see if we got a carrier up.
Okay.
Houston contact, Buckhorn contact, go ahead.
All right. Houston contact, testing 1, 2. Stand by, Buckhorn.
Roger, one over down.
Mission Control, Houston, 3 days, 7 hours, 7 minutes mission elapsed time on orbit number 54. We're about to pass very briefly over the outer range of the western United States tracking station. Standing by for voice contact momentarily.
Columbia, Houston, back with you through the States for 6 minutes, over.
Hey, Sally, we're holding at point, let's see, 133 right now for this pass. If you can whip up some TV quick, we turned on the elbow camera and we have an extreme good close-up view of the missing tile on the nose from here.
Columbia, Gordo, we're not able to get the TV cranked up this fast. If you could get it on VTR and play it back to us later, we'll be able to get a look at it that way.
Okay, I guess there's no surprises, so.
Okay, we'd still like to get it.
And you want me to go ahead and maneuver to the IMU line attitude on time, or you want to use any of the stars that are in there?
Jack, we've got this scheduled with COAS calibration, so we're going to need to have you maneuver to the attitudes and do the aligns as published.
Okay. Looks like to me that we might not have enough time to get this sequence done in order to start the IMU maneuver on time.
Roger, Jack. And Jack, if you've got a minute, we'd like to take a look at the housekeeping data from the FPEG. If you could call up Spec 92 and do an item 23, we'll get some good data down here.
You got it.
Roger, thank you. And Columbia, the EMI search is not sensitive to the spacecraft attitude, so you can go ahead and do the IMU alignment while the EMI search is going on.
Okay.
Columbia, we'd like to make a couple changes to the down list. If you could give us Spec 1 to a GNC machine, we'll start that.
Okay, CRT2.
Roger, CRT2. Columbia, we've got 2 minutes left in this pass. After the states pass, we're coming up on a pretty long LOS. When you're done with the EMI search, you've got to go to berth the PDP. And after that, ungrapple, cradle the arm, latch it up, and stow it. And the RMS people and the PDP people would like to thank you for a real good job today. They got a lot of good data, and we got some great pictures.
Okay, understand. Thank you very much.
Roger, and when you're finished with RMS ops, you can go ahead and turn off all the bay cameras.
All right, you let me know when we can get on with the EMI search here.
Roger, we've got about 1 minute to LOS. You can get on with it then. Columbia, we're 40 seconds to LOS. Botswana's next in 35 minutes, and we sent you a state vector update this pass.
Okay, thank you.
This is Mission Control Houston at 3 days, 7 hours, 14 minutes mission elapsed time on the 54th orbit. We've just passed out a range of the U.S. tracking stations, and we have a long loss of signal period for about 34 more minutes. Crew is going back to their activities with the electromagnetic interference search using the payload arm and the plasma diagnostic package. When they finish that activity, they will be rebirthing the PDP in the payload bay and shutting it down for the evening. And word was passed up to them from the ground that the payloads people and the remote manipulator arm people gave them their thanks for a good day of hard work. At 3 days, 7 hours, 15 minutes mission elapsed time, this is Mission Control, Houston.
Columbia, Houston, back with you through Botswana for 4.5 minutes, over.
Okay, we're holding up on the berthing until Jack gets his COAS cal done. We're getting a delta bias of 0.48.
Copy, 0.48. Columbia, Houston, with 1 minute left in this pass, just for information. On STS-1 and 2, we saw delta biases of 0.27 and 0.22. Those were in the forward station. And the MER says they expected about a 0.6 delta bias in the app station. So it looks like it's in the right ballpark.
Say again, you broke up there.
Roger, Gordo, with 40 seconds left, I was just passing you some information that on STS-1 and 2, in the forward station, we saw delta biases of 0.27 and 0.22, and in the aft station, we expected about a 0.6 delta bias. So it looks like these numbers jive.
Okay.
and we're 15 seconds LOS. Hawaii's next in 43 minutes.
Mission Control Houston at 3 days, 7 hours, 54 minutes mission elapsed time. Passed out of the range of the Botswana tracking station, and it will be about 42 more minutes before we reacquire over Hawaii on this orbit number 55. Once again, we are in that period of time during the end of the day where we have the orbit track as precessed westward, and we do not pass over as many ground stations as we do during the point of highest activity during the day. The crew has reported that during this pass that they have not yet berthed the plasma diagnostic package. They're waiting to finish the crew optical alignment system calibration, which is currently going on as we passed over Botswana. And once they get that accomplished, presumably they will return to the berthing of the PDP. At 3 days, 7 hours, 55 minutes, mission elapsed time. This is Mission Control, Houston. This is Mission Control, Houston, at 3 days, 7 hours, 59 minutes, mission elapsed time. We're currently on orbit number 55 and still in the middle of a long loss of signal period. The next change of shift briefing for the off-going flight controllers is currently scheduled for approximately 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time this evening. And that will be held in Building 2, Room 135, with Flight Director Neil Hutchinson, the off-going flight director at that time. 3 days, 8 hours, mission elapsed time. This is Mission Control, Houston.
Columbia, Houston through Hawaii. How do you read?
Mission Control, Houston, standing by for acquisition of signal at Hawaii.
Columbia, Houston through Hawaii for 1 minute. How do you read?
Loud and clear, how many?
Loud and clear, Jack.
Okay, Sally, it's berthed and the arm's cradled and put away for the night. It took 4 minutes to go in and berth it this time with the same routine same effect as the first try.
Roger, Grotto, we copy. You're getting faster.
And the channel 2, 26, 8 plus 26.
Okay, 8 plus 26, then we're 15 seconds to LOS. Santiago is next in 25 minutes.
Okay, see you there.
And correction, Jack, that's to a keyhole. We've still got 2 minutes.
Oh, good. Okay, I guess we've done about everything except the fire and smoke suppression test and the annunciator caution warning lamp test.
Roger, Jack, we copy that.
And you going to want a water dump tonight?
That's affirmative, Jack. We don't have those numbers for you yet, though.
Okay.
Columbia, we're 50 seconds to LOS. Santiago is next in 23 minutes, and we'll have a water dump for you then. Columbia, Houston with 20 seconds left. You might check the teleprinter, and we'll have a water dump quantity for you in Santiago in 23 minutes.
Mission Control, Houston, at 3 days, 8 hours, 38 minutes, mission elapsed time. Just had loss of signal through Hawaii, orbit number 55. Gordon Fullerton reported that they have rebirthed the plasma diagnostic package and have put the arm away for the night, completing a very full and productive day of activities with those two systems. While they were passing through Hawaii, the downlink data gave ground controllers an opportunity to see how all the other onboard systems were performing, and a brief check of the room determined that everything looked good at this point. Be about 22 more minutes before we reacquire communication with Columbia again over the Santiago tracking station in South America. At 3 days, 8 hours, 39 minutes mission elapsed time, this is Mission Control, Houston.
Break.
Mission Control, Houston, at 3 days, 9 hours mission elapsed time. Just a few seconds away from reacquiring communication with Columbia over the Santiago, Chile tracking station.
Columbia, Houston over Santiago in the blind. We're getting no downlink from you. We'd like a panel and command on C3. Columbia, Houston in the blind over Santiago, receiving no downlink. Request panel, then command. Repeat, request panel, then command. Over.
Okay, there's your panel in command, Sally.
Roger, Jack, you're loud and clear. And we've got 1 minute left at Santiago. And Jack, we'd like you to check the teleprinter messages that we sent up. And we've also got an attitude for you. We'd like a roll of 235.0 that you can initiate at 0920. Columbia, Houston, how do you read?
How do you read, Sally?
Roger, you're loud and clear. And that was a roll of 235.0. Initiate at 9 plus 20. Columbia going over the hill. We'll talk to you at Botswana in 17 minutes.
Okay, Sally, how do you read?
Roger, you're loud and clear. Did you copy the maneuver?
Mission Control, Houston, 3 days, 9 hours, 5 minutes mission elapsed time. Had some considerable difficulty with communications on that pass, and were unable to pass up some instructions that time. We'll be trying that again in about 16 minutes over the Botswana station. On orbit number 55, the third day of the flight, this is Mission Control, Houston. Mission Control, Houston, at 3 days, 9 hours, 21 minutes mission elapsed time. We're coming up now on reacquiring communication with the Columbia through the Botswana tracking station. Crew is currently scheduled to be in their meal period, having their dinner. According to the schedule, the meal for the day at this time of day would normally be tuna, macaroni and cheese, peas, peach ambrosia, chocolate pudding, and lemonade, but the way the crew has been eating this flight and altering the meal plans, it's difficult to tell right now until we actually hear from them whether they have actually eaten that for dinner or not. It's been a very productive day today, seeing the first time that a payload has been unberthed and removed by the remote manipulator arm, taken out of the payload bay, and then successfully rebirthed. Standing by for communication momentarily. This is Mission Control, Houston.
Columbia, Houston through Botswana. How do you read?
Loud and clear, Sally, how me?
Loud and clear, Jack.
Okay, I heard you say something about a maneuver. I don't know what it was, but I went up and checked, and it looked like I was in the wrong place. So what happened when we came out of attitude hold before was, or out of into the last maneuver, we bumped the stick accidentally and didn't notice we were in manual till quite a bit later. Then I used the wrong day to get back in the rotation, but I think I'm okay now.
Roger, we understand all that, Jack. We were pretty sure we knew what the problem was. We don't have data over Botswana, but I do have an attitude that'll be your tweak for the night, which is biasing the roll attitude just a little bit for the night so that it'll be centered at middle of the night and be just a little bit off in the morning. I can give that to you if you like.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Okay, that'll be the same pitch and yaw and a roll of 96.0. You can initiate the rotation at 09 9:37.
Okay, 9:37, and that'll be a roll of 96. And is the, I think about .134 in there now. Whatever it is that all right?
Jack, we'd like .135.
All right, I'll make it one.
Okay, we think that's what you've got. And I've also got water dump quantities for you.
Go ahead.
Okay, tonight we'd like you to dump tank Bravo to 0%. It's all the way down. And tank Alpha to 90%, 90%.
Okay, Bravo 0 and Alpha 90.
That's firm, and that's a big water dump so that you shouldn't need one tomorrow morning.
Okay.
And we've got a heater configuration that we'd like you to set pre-sleep when you're configuring the rest of the cabin for pre-sleep.
How much time do we have left in this pass?
Okay, what's the heater?
Roger, on panel L1, we're going to want the topping of VAP heater, left nozzle and right nozzle, both to B auto, Bravo auto, and the topping of VAP heater duct to Bravo. And again, that's pre-sleep. And Jack, that's to set us up for a DTO tomorrow.
Okay, I'll take care of it.
Okay?
Separator off, right?
That's correct. And Columbia, with a minute and a half left at Botswana, sometime this evening, the payloads people would like to get the PGU readings and the actual MET of disable from last night. We don't need you to get that now, but we would like it sometime before sleep. And also, for your information, we think we may have a problem with the low power in transponder number 2, which is why the panel command was necessary over the last site. And we intend to do some troubleshooting over Indian Ocean, which is our next S-band site.
Okay.
Go ahead.
And Columbia, with 40 seconds left, could you verify that the reason that you performed the panel command was because you did hear my call?
I can verify that. I heard your call and I did it.
Okay, thanks. That'll help us. We're 30 seconds to LOS, and we've sent you a couple teleprinter messages that we'd like you to check. And we'll talk to you again at Indian Ocean in 2 minutes.
Okay, and by the way, that was the only call that I did here at that station.
Thanks a lot. That helps us.
This is Mission Control Houston at 3 days, 9 hours, 28 minutes mission elapsed time. We're on orbit number 56 and have just passed out of range of the Botswana tracking station. We'll be reacquiring in about a minute and a half or so at the Indian Ocean station for a pass lasting several minutes. And we'll then have quite a long time that we're out of communication until we reacquire over Hawaii. The flight controllers are passing up some notes during this last pass to let the crew square away all the items of work remaining so that they can get the vehicle properly configured for the evening. At 3 days, 9 hours, 29 minutes mission elapsed time, this is Mission Control, Houston. Mission Control, Houston, standing by for acquisition of signal with Columbia at the Indian Ocean station.
Columbia, Houston through Indian Ocean for 7 minutes. Over.
Okay, I hear you in Indian Ocean. We disabled channel 2 of tape recorder 1 at 8:26. 8 plus 26 and the light was off.
Roger, 8 plus 26 and the light was off. And do you have the time for last night, the MET of disable?
All right. Okay, last night was 11:03, 11 plus 03, and the light status was on land.
Copy, 11:03, and lights were on.
You copy?
That's affirmative. We copy, Jack. Columbia, Houston, I'm afraid I made a mistake when I read you up the rotation time. I failed to give you the seconds on that. The 0937 is correct, and you should add to that 09 seconds.
Okay, I'll add 9 seconds.
Okay. Columbia, Houston, the topping of app heaters that we read up to you earlier, we decided that we'd like you to turn those on now, if you could, so that we could take a look at them while we've got data.
Okay.
And those were the topping of app heater, left nozzle, right nozzle to B auto, and duct to Bravo.
Okay, how much longer we got in the pass?
We got 3 minutes left.
Okay, I'll be right with you.
Tell me the heaters are on now. Have a look.
Okay, thanks, Jack.
Okay, Sally, I got some PGU data for you. How much do you want?
We're ready for it, Jack.
Okay, where do you want me to begin? I got 3 readings today, breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
How about starting with breakfast?
Okay, breakfast, 2 days, 22 hours. All the lights are okay. Starting with chamber 7, 23.1, 23.3, 22.9er, 22.9er, 23.3, 23.7. How copy?
We copy. Go ahead.
Okay, lunch, day 3, 3 hours, 20 minutes. All the lights are okay. Chamber 7, 26.0, 26.0, 25.8, 25.8, 26.5, 27.8. How copy?
We copy. Go ahead.
Okay, dinner, day 3, 9 hours, 35 minutes, just 3 minutes ago. All the lights are okay. Chamber 7, 26.3, 26.4, 26.2, 26.2, 26.7, and 27.4. How copy?
We copy, and we're going AOS. We'll talk to you at San Diego at 10:34. Thank you.
See you later.
Okay, and enjoy dinner.
Mission Control Houston at 3 days, 9 hours, 38 minutes mission elapsed time. We've just passed out of range of the Indian Ocean Station, and we'll be reacquiring communication with Columbia on the downward track of orbit number 56 in about 29 minutes. This is Mission Control Houston. This is Mission Control Houston. The flight controller's change of shift briefing with off-going Flight Director Neil Hutchinson is currently scheduled to begin at approximately 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time in room 135 of Building 2. That conference is still scheduled for approximately 8:30. This is Mission Control Houston. Mission Control Houston at 3 days, 9 hours, 52 minutes mission elapsed time. In the upcoming change of shift briefing that's due to take place beginning at 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, we will have off-going Flight Director Neil Hutchinson, Dr. Sam Poole, the Chief of the Medical Sciences Division here at the Johnson Space Center, and Dr. Werner Neupert, the OSS-1 program scientist from the Goddard Space Flight Center. That briefing again scheduled to begin at 8:30 this evening. This is Mission Control, Houston.
The shuttle mission control coming up in the pass over the Hawaiian station for 7 minutes, and we will
Houston
be...
through Hawaii for 7 minutes, over.
Okay, Sally, got you loud and clear.
You're loud and clear also, Gordo. And for information, it looks to us like we may have lost the downlink from transponder number 2, S-band transponder number 2. We think right now that it's low power only. We're going to be doing some troubleshooting over this Hawaii pass to make sure that it is only the low power. And we may have to ask you for a panel command 1 or 2 times this pass.
Bye.
Columbia, Houston, we have no messages for you right now this pass, but we're interested in how you're doing as far as dinner goes and getting ready for the evening.
Well, Jack's finished eating. I'm working at it. I'm halfway through chow. I'm trying to eat the complete scheduled meal here.
Roger, we copy. Columbia, Houston, we saw a target suppress bit in the -Z tracker. We'd like you to cycle that shutter at your convenience.
Okay, cycle the Z tracker.
Firm. Columbia, Houston, with 1 minute left. We'd like a panel command at this time.
Goodbye. Got it.
Roger, thank you. And we've got 45 seconds left here. Santiago is next at 10:34, and that'll be a medical conference.
Okay, we'll talk at 10:34. And we're going to start a fuel cell purge right now.
Roger, we copy that, Jack, and this will be the Silver Team's last pass for the day. We sure enjoyed working with you. You had a super day.
Well, thank you for sticking with it. We couldn't do it without you. Have a good rest, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Roger that.
This is Shuttle Mission Control, the Flight Control Team. Handover is taking place in the Mission Control Center now with Flight Director Neil Hutchison and the Silver Team relinquishing command and control of the mission to Flight Director Tommy Holloway and the Ivory Team. The flight controllers are massaging a problem having to do with the transponder number 2 on board Columbia, which is apparently experiencing a failure in the downlink mode, producing an inability to transmit data or voice communication from the vehicle to the ground stations. During the next pass at Santiago, there will be no voice and no data, in as much as Santiago is an S-band station only. And the S-band transponder number 2, which is currently selected on board Columbia, is inoperative. There will be a brief UHF pass over Botswana. And for the next several passes, communications passes, the flight control team will be trying to more precisely understand the nature of the S-band transponder failure and discuss a workaround or mitigating actions. We are 16 minutes from acquisition of signal at Santiago normally. However, in as much as we believe the crew has the inoperative transponder number 2 selected, there in all probability be no voice or no data through the Santiago station, and the pass through Botswana, where we have UHF contact, is very brief, on the order of about 2 minutes. And mission elapsed time is now 3 days, 10 hours, 18 minutes, and we're about an hour and 40 minutes from entering the sleep period for the crew. Shuttle mission control, mission elapsed time is 3 days, 10 hours, 34 minutes. We're coming up on acquisition of signal through Santiago. Once again, we the shuttle mission control coming up on the pass over the Hawaiian station for 7 minutes, and we will
Houston through Hawaii for 7 minutes, over.
Okay, Sally, got you loud and clear.
You're loud and clear also, Gordo. And for information, it looks to us like we may have lost the downlink from transponder number 2, S-band transponder number 2. We think right now that it's low power only. We're going to be doing some troubleshooting over this Hawaii pass to make sure that it is only the low power. And we may have to ask you for a panel command 1 or 2 times this pass.
All right.
Columbia, Houston, we have no messages for you right now this pass, but we're interested in how you're doing as far as dinner goes and getting ready for the evening.
Well, Jack's finished eating. I'm working at it. I'm about halfway through chow. I'm trying to eat the complete scheduled meal here.
Roger, we copy. Columbia, Houston, we saw a target suppress bit in the -Z tracker. We'd like you to cycle that shutter at your convenience.
Okay, cycle the Z tracker.
Firm. Columbia, Houston, with 1 minute left. We'd like a panel command at this time.
Goodbye. Got it.
Roger, thank you. And we've got 45 seconds left here. Santiago is next at 10:34, and that'll be a medical conference.
Okay, we'll talk at 10:34, and we're going to start a fuel cell purge right now.
Roger, we copy that, Jack, and this will be the Silver Team's last pass for the day. We sure enjoyed working with you. You had a super day.
Well, thank you for sticking with it. We couldn't do it without you. Have a good rest, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Roger that.
This is Shuttle Mission Control, the Flight Control Team. Handover is taking place in the Mission Control Center now with Flight Director Neil Hutchison and the Silver Team relinquishing command and control of the mission to Flight Director Tommy Holloway and the Ivory Team. The flight controllers are massaging a problem having to do with the transponder number 2 on board Columbia, which is apparently experiencing a failure in the downlink mode, producing an inability to transmit data or voice communication from the vehicle to the ground stations. During the next pass at Santiago, there will be no voice and no data, in as much as Santiago is an S-band station only. And the S-band transponder number 2, which is currently selected on board Columbia, is inoperative. There will be a brief UHF pass over Botswana. And for the next several passes, communications passes, the flight control team will be trying to more precisely understand the nature of the S-band transponder failure and discuss a workaround or mitigating actions. We are 16 minutes from acquisition of signal at Santiago normally. However, inasmuch as we believe the crew has the inoperative transponder number 2 selected, there in all probability be no voice or no data through the Santiago station, and the pass through Botswana, where we have UHF contact, is very brief, on the order of about 2 minutes. And mission elapsed time is now 3 days, 10 hours, 18 minutes, and we're about an hour and 40 minutes from entering the sleep period for the crew. Shuttle mission control, mission elapsed time is 3 days, 10 hours, 34 minutes. We're coming up on acquisition of signal through Santiago. Once again, we suspect the crew has selected the transponder number 1, and there may not be voice or data through this pass. However, the malfunction procedure is for the crew, once it realizes that there's no voice contact, our malf procedure is to panel command or manually select the alternate transponder, in which case, if they do that before we lose contact, why there will be the opportunity for some voice and data acquisition through Santiago. Acquisition will be momentarily, and the duration of this pass over Santiago would be about 5.5 minutes. And we'll stand by to see if there is voice contact affected during this pass. This is shuttle mission control. This is shuttle mission control. Obviously no voice contact as yet. However, we will have contact through Botswana, which is not an S-band station, and in as much as this failure is associated with the S-band equipment, Botswana has a UHF capability, and we would acquire Botswana 20 minutes from now. And the duration of that pass, however, is rather brief, in the vicinity of about 2 minutes in duration. Still 3.5 minutes remaining until we lose signal through, lose the capability for signal through Santiago, Chile. Shuttle mission control, we've had loss of signal, or loss of the opportunity for signal through Santiago, Chile, and clearly the crew did not panel command the alternate transponder for voice contact and data, and we will acquire signal, and again in about 15.5 minutes through Botswana through UHF. It's a brief pass of about 2 minutes in duration, and the capsule communicator during that pass will give priority to instructing the crew to configure their S-band transponders properly so that we can have voice contact through the subsequent pass at the Indian Ocean Station, where we'll have a little over 5 minutes to talk to the crew and discuss the nature of this problem and see if we can configure the vehicle properly for acquisition of signal and telemetry during the overnight period, and more clearly understand the nature of the difficulty with that transponder. Mission elapsed time is 3 days, 10 hours, 41 minutes. This is shuttle mission control. This is shuttle mission control. Mission elapsed time is 3 days, 10 hours, 56 minutes. We're 20 seconds away from acquisition of signal through the UHF station at Botswana. A brief pass on vicinity of about 2 minutes long, and the capsule communicator will give priority to instructing the crew on how to configure the S-band transponder to assure we have communication on the upcoming pass at Indian Ocean Station.
Columbia Houston, Ivory team with you through Botswana for a couple of minutes. How do you copy? Columbia, Houston. Ivory team with you through Botswana for 1.5 minutes. How do you copy?
Be loud and clear, Dave. How me?
Very good, Jack. Nice to be talking with you again. We've got one thing we'd like you to do as soon as possible to try to get our comm back into a normal configuration.
Say again your last. I didn't copy that, Dave.
Okay, Jack. In order to get our comm back into a configuration, we would like you to select transponder mode Sigless on panel A1, and then give us a panel command, and then select state and low on transponder for us, if you would, please. How copy, Columbia?
Okay, tell me again what switch goes to Sigless.
Transponder mode to Sigless. Panel A1, Jack, S-band PM panel, the rotary switch to Sigless, and then a panel command, and then the same switch back to state and low.
Okay, I did all that. Give it a try.
Very good. We're about LOS, and we'll be looking to get good comm once again. We'll pick you up at IOS.
Okay.
This is Shuttle Mission Control. We've had loss of signal through the UHF station at Botswana, and the capsule communicator, Terry Hart, did complete instructions to... let me correct that to capsule communicator David Griggs did complete instructions to Columbia Commander Jack Lausma on configuring the vehicle for acquisition of signal through S-band at Indian Ocean Station. We'll have that contact in 5.5 minutes. Mission elapsed time 3 days, 10 hours, 59 minutes. This is Shuttle Mission Control. This is Shuttle Mission Control, just 10 seconds away from acquisition of signal through the S-band station at Indian Ocean Station, where we will begin to try to troubleshoot that S-band transponder problem. This is Mission Control at 3 hours, 3 days, 11 hours, and 5 minutes. Mission Control is receiving data through the S-band station. This is Shuttle Mission Control. We've had a loss of signal through Indian Ocean Station, and we did get good downlink data during that pass, and the flight control team acquired assurances that the vehicle's performing within nominal constraints. There was no voice pass, or no voice contact during that pass, and as much as the vehicle was properly configured, and we're only 45 minutes from sleep, and the crew is performing some pre-sleep activity and some scheduled exercise regimes and other items in the crew checklist. We'll have acquisition of signal again in about 30 minutes through, once again, through the S-band station at Hawaii for about, 4 minutes duration. The flight control team is now discussing troubleshooting the S-band problem. There are 2 S-band transponders on board the vehicle, and they have the capability for redundancy in a variety of modes. Each transponder has high power and low power modes, in addition to high frequency and low frequency modes, giving the instrumentation and communications officer a variety of paths through which he may route communications through those 2 transponders and through those various power levels and frequency levels. Overnight, the plan is to operate on transponder number 1, which is a good transponder, and to achieve some redundancy through antenna deployment, and to essentially not bother the crew too much at this juncture with troubleshooting that problem, and to look at data through the evening and to try to design some mitigating procedures which can provide redundancy through the transponder systems. We'll have acquisition of signal again in about 26 minutes through Hawaii. Mission elapsed time is now 3 days, 11 hours, and 16 minutes. This is shuttle mission control. This is shuttle mission control. We're about 30 seconds from acquiring signal through the ground station in Hawaii. This will be an S-band pass, about 4 minutes in duration, and the crew will be instructed to try to get some data and some comm through the high power mode on the failed transponder. Have voice contact momentarily.
Columbia, Houston, with you through Hawaii for about 4 minutes. How do you read?
Okay, we're reading loud and clear. How many, Dave?
Roger, loud and clear, Jack. We've got about 4 or 5 messages we need to get to you before sleep period if you're ready to copy and also ready to listen for us.
Stand by. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, Jack. The first one is INCO is going to be doing some comm reconfiguration here. You might expect an IO error towards the end of this pass. Just disregard that. Second, we need a GNC Spec 1 prior to LOS at this pass in order to reconfigure the variable parameter down list to the nominal configuration. Number 3, the GNC reconfiguration performed today affected some of props data. We need to have Gordo or you re-enable the left ohms gauging. That's on Spec 22, item 5. Correction, Spec 23, item 5, and then terminate the gauging again with an item 7. Also, at your interconnect return this evening, we'd like you to repress the left ohms through the A leg, and please do that during this pass if possible.
Yeah, we got it. We got the interconnect taken care of. I'll repress the left ohms for the with the left helium right now. You got Spec 1 and CRT 1.
Okay, sounds good. Also, it appears that the N2 leak of a couple of days ago may have reappeared in System 1. For the sleep period, we would like you to open N2 System 2 and close N2 System 1.
Okay, open N2 System 2 and then do what?
Open System 2, close System 1.
Are you still there, Dave?
Roger, Columbia, we're still here. I say again, open System 2 and close System 1. Columbia, Houston, with you for about another minute. How do you read?
Okay, I'm reading loud and clear. We did the N2 system. We got Spec 1 on the CRT 1. We did item 5 and item 7 on Spec 23. We repressed the left ohms through the helium press A, and that's about it, isn't it?
Okay, that's all good, Jack. Just a couple more cleanup things. Your current state vector is not quite adequate to support a Northrop Rev 64. We're going to update that after you go to bed. It'll be good. And finally, tomorrow will be essentially a nominal day, except as brief so far. And although we haven't had much time with you, we've enjoyed it. We've got 30 seconds to go, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Hey, thanks a lot, Dave. We'll look forward to it. We're going to hit the SAG now.
And Jack, one more message. We'd like you to leave Spec 1 up over through Santiago, and also give us a panel command, please.
Okay, there's your panel command, and we'll have Spec 1 up all night if you want it.
Okay, Jack, have a good sleep. Enjoyed it.
Roger.
This is Shuttle Mission Control. We've had loss of signal through Hawaii. 12 minutes from the initiation of the crew sleep period, the crew was instructed to configure the transponder so that the good transponder, number one, would be operative during the sleep period tonight, so that flight control team can continue to look at the S-band data that's broadcast by Columbia. We'll have acquisition of signal through Santiago in 20 minutes, but in as much as we'll be in the crew sleep period, why there won't be any voice contact. During that pass, the Capcom David Griggs instructed the crew that the instrumentation and communications officer would be doing some work with the communications gear, and made reference to an I/O error or an input-output error, which might generate a caution and warning alarm on Columbia, and as a product of the INCO's work, and the crew was advised to disregard that I/O error. The N2 leak reference, gaseous nitrogen pressure anomaly has been a situation that's been watched throughout the flight. There's not any real degree of certainty that it's a leak or an instrumentation problem or a bad gauge, or the exact nature of that situation isn't quite well understood, but as an that was a precautionary move. The crew was told to deselect the N2 system number one, which had been demonstrating that lowered pressure, and to select or open N2 system number two. That N2 system, the nitrogen system, is the method by which the Columbia's cabin is pressurized. The state vector is an update to navigational aids, and the crew was advised that the flight control team would be updating the state vector. And the crew was advised to expect a nominal flight plan for day number 5. We'll have acquisition of signal in about 18 minutes over Santiago, and we'll be looking for data acquisition during that pass. Following that, the flight path takes a circuitous route which kind of sneaks around each one of the ground stations and misses the ground tracks on every station except Santiago again. So once we pass Santiago, it'll be another hour and a half or another one full orbit before we get data once again. About 10 minutes away from the initiation of the sleep period for the Columbia crew. Mission elapsed time is now 3 days, 11 hours, and 50 minutes. This is Shuttle Mission Control. This is Shuttle Mission Control. We're about a minute and a half away from acquisition of signal again through the Santiago Chile station. To recap the nature of the problem, once again, there are 2 transponders on board the shuttle. Transponder 1 is functioning normally. The problem lies in transponder number 2. Each transponder has high frequency and low frequency capability, high power and low power capability. What we have determined is that transponder number 2 in low power is failed. What we don't know is the status of the high power side of transponder number 2, and we don't propose to try to determine that tonight. We propose rather to give priority to crew rest and let the crew have a good night's sleep, in as much as troubleshooting that system would require crew participation, would require the crew's assistance in throwing switches on board the vehicle. And the feeling of the flight control team is that the priority is indeed with crew rest, and that the troubleshooting can occur tomorrow and not tonight. The vehicle is presently configured using transponder number 1, and it is configured in a manner that there is redundancy because the instrumentation and communications officer will have the capability to change between high power and low power, high output, high frequency and low frequency within that single transponder. The concern is that we maintain the capability to get good data through the night, and using the good transponder and the ENCO's capability for redundancy, we have high confidence that we shall be able to do that. Troubleshooting of the suspect transponder will be deferred until tomorrow when the crew gets up and get a fresh start on flight day number 4. This is Shuttle Mission Control. We've had loss of signal over the Santiago station, and we did acquire S-band data during that pass. And we now go on that circuitous flight path where we skirt around and among and between the ground stations until we once again encounter Santiago in 1 hour and 27 minutes. So this will be a long LOS period, but the pass over Santiago did verify that we can acquire downlink data. Crew should be asleep now. It's 15 minutes into their sleep period. Mission elapsed time is 3 days, 12 hours, 15 minutes. This is Shuttle Mission Control. This is Shuttle Mission Control. We are still in that long LOS period, loss of signal period, as the vehicle on this particular ground track avoids most of the ground station as it goes around the Earth and picks up the same ground station at Santiago, Chile that it picked up on its most recent contact. The ENCO, the Instrumentation and Communications Officer, the systems officer who is responsible for the transponder problem, is presently in the back room working with his technicians and trying to see if they can come up with a workaround or some method of examining the transducer problem. That systems officer is Al Pennington, and we're coming up on an acquisition of signal at Santiago, which is, of course, that S-band station. And when he comes out of that meeting with his technicians, why, he may have some new method of trying to resolve or more completely understand that problem while we have the S-band opportunity at Santiago. That station comes up in 13 minutes. And will be the first data take we've had from the vehicle at that time in an hour and a half. The astronauts have been into their sleep period for an hour and a half. An hour and a half. And we are just a little more than 12 minutes from acquisition of signal. Columbia is on its 58th orbit of the Earth, presently over the South Pacific Ocean, and proceeding on down toward the Santiago, Chile station. Mission elapsed time is presently 3 days, 13 hours, and 30 minutes. This is Shuttle Mission Control.
Minute.
This is Shuttle Mission Control. The vehicle is now within range of the Santiago station, and we're getting data. We are getting data through the S-band station at Santiago, Chile, and Mission Control Center is processing that data now. Shuttle Mission Control, flight controllers here in the control center are looking at the data from Santiago now, determining the health and well-being functions on board Columbia. And Flight Director Tommy Holloway will momentarily ask each position for a status report and determine whether any problems are present on board. Mission elapsed time is 3 days, 13 hours, 46 minutes, and we will have that status update from the flight control team momentarily. This shuttle mission control, Flight Director Tommy Holloway has completed his poll of flight directors, and each reports good data from the Santiago Pass, and each reports that their respective onboard systems are performing nominally, and that the health of Columbia continues to be good. Next station pass will be through Ascension Island in about 7 minutes. Columbia is on its 59th orbit of the Earth, and the crew's about 2 hours into its sleep period. This is Shuttle Mission Control. This is Shuttle Mission Control. Mission elapsed time is 3 days, 15 hours, 20 minutes. Right now, the Space Shuttle Columbia is over the ground station at Santiago, Chile, that S-band station where we are once again acquiring good data using the working S-band transmitter, transponder on board Columbia. Flight Director Tommy Holloway has gone around the room asking each of his flight controllers whether they got good data from the vehicle and whether their systems are performing nominally, and was responded to in the affirmative on each case. Columbia is just leaving the range of that ground station on its 59th orbit of the Earth. The astronauts have 4.5 hours remaining in their sleep period. There have been no alarms and no caution and warning signals on board the vehicle. On one of the earlier passes, the flight control team uplinked some TIMBUs, table maintenance buffer updates, which instruct the onboard computers to have more relaxed standards while they are monitoring the health and well-being functions on board the vehicle. The computers on board monitor temperatures, pressures, and a variety of readings on board. And if one of those readings exceeds certain parameters, they trigger an alarm. The purpose of uplinking more relaxed TIMBUs during the night is to relax those constraints and to prevent the crew from being continually disturbed by alarms for systems which might not need critical attention. Mission elapsed time is now 3 days, 15 hours, 22 minutes. This is Shuttle Mission Control.
Message voice control, what do I?
This is Shuttle Mission Control, mission elapsed time, 3 days, 16 hours, 28 minutes. Pass over the ground station at Guam. And good downlink data from the vehicle indicating that 6-minute change of shift briefing for the Ivory team of flight controllers. And Director Tommy Holloway will be at 8:30 a.m. Friday morning Central Time. This is Shuttle Mission Control. Mission elapsed time is 3 days, 17 hours, 55 minutes. 2 hours remaining in the astronaut sleep period. Busy day ahead of the astronauts today. The first order of business by the flight control team will be to exercise some mitigating options to determine the extent of the problem with the S-band transponders. And we expect they will be getting to that immediately after breakfast and after the crew gets to be up and around. Also some more remote manipulator system operations today involving the plasma diagnostic package, and plan to duplicate much of the science that was gathered today or in the previous flight day. There will be a burn in the orbital maneuvering system, a 100-second burn to determine the performance of the OMS orbital maneuvering system's engines after that cold soak with the nose to the sun for some 80 hours. That 80-hour nose sun attitude concludes during this flight day also, and that certainly is one of the more extreme thermal tests that the Columbia has undergone to date. There is 50 minutes remaining till another acquisition of signal pass through Madrid. Data downlinked to the vehicle continues to flow through the working S-band transponder, and data indicates the shuttle systems are performing nominally while the crew sleeps, and that there have been no caution and warning alarms to disturb their rest this evening. We'll be waking the crew up in 2 hours. Mission elapsed time is now 3 days, 17 hours, 58 minutes. This is Shuttle Mission Control. This is Shuttle Mission Control. Mission elapsed time 3 days, 19 hours, 14 minutes. Columbia is on its 42nd orbit of the Earth, and we have 45 minutes remaining in the crew sleep period. Columbia is presently out over the Indian Ocean, and we expect that after the crew awakes and has breakfast, they will begin to work on the transponder workarounds that the INCO and his backroom technicians have been discussing all night long. And looks like nominally another busy day on orbit with additional remote manipulators. Remote manipulator system deployments of the plasma diagnostic package. We will acquire signal in about 6 minutes over Yargity, Australia, and we, flight control team at that point, will be getting some data takes and be able to determine if the crew is up early and moving around in the cabin and turning on displays. If that is the case, we shall, of course, advise promptly. Mission elapsed time is 3 days, 19 hours, 16 minutes. This is Shuttle Mission Control. Shuttle Mission Control at 3 days, 19 hours, 29 minutes. This is Shuttle Mission Control. Mission elapsed time, 3 days, 19 hours, 35 minutes, 24 minutes remaining in the official sleep period for the crew. However, during the S-band pass over Royal Valley in Australia, a fault message, an error message was flagged on board Columbia. There was a peg out of limits on a payload function, and it apparently woke the crew, and the crew initiated a downlink transmission on air to ground 1. However, the ground station wasn't configured to receive, so we didn't get that voice contact. We have subsequently lost signal with the Royal Valley. There was downlink data from Columbia, which was assessed by the flight control team, and systems on board are all go. We are in a loss of signal period. We'll acquire again in about 30 minutes over the Mylar station. Teleprinter message up to the crew has instructed them not to This is Shuttle Mission Control. Mission elapsed time, 3 days, 20 hours, 4 minutes. We'll acquire signal in about a minute and a half through Grand Bahama and the Mylar station. And the crew sleep period has expired, so we may safely anticipate voice contact, first voice contact of the day. Columbia is on its 63rd orbit of Earth, and the flight control team is going to transmit up messages instructing the crew on how to configure to begin troubleshooting this S-band transponder problem. And acquisition of signal in about a half a minute now at mission elapsed time, 3 days, 20 hours and 5 minutes. This is Shuttle Mission Control.
Columbia, Houston, we're AOS Mila. Top of the morning to you. Columbia, Houston, AOS Mila. How do you copy?
Morning, we're reading you loud and clear. Let me configure a speaker box, okay?
Raj, take your time.
Shuttle Mission Control, Columbia configuring to...
Okay, how do you hear me now?
You're loud and clear, Jack. How you doing?
Doing very well. We had to get our speaker boxes configured because there's a little feedback there, and what's next?
Well, next is wake up and take your time. You can disregard the message you received at Aurora there. We weren't able to answer you in time before we went LOS, but it's of no concern. We're still looking at why it happened. We don't quite understand it, but there's nothing wrong with the FPEG.
Okay, about 40 minutes ago we got code on the FPEG indicated, but didn't see anything on the CRT, so we presumed it was okay. We noticed it was on.
We concur, and short LOS here. We'll see you at Bermuda in about a minute.
Shuttle Mission Control. The FPEG discussed was the fault message that was transmitted to the crew during the Arroyo Valley Pass, and the Capcom David Griggs advised the crew that it was an inconsequential message and required no action on their part. We have a little keyhole here between Mylar and Bermuda, and we will acquire voice contact again in just a few moments. Mission elapsed time is 3 days, 20 hours, 10 minutes. The Shuttle Mission Control.
Columbia, Houston, we're AOS Bermuda now. If you don't have anything to talk to us about, we can play a little music for you.
Well, I better talk to you about something. I'm down here on the teleprinter, and I just took a message off, and I can't get it to stop feeding.
We copy. Stand by, please, Jack. Columbia, Houston, we are sending messages at this time. Is it printing them?
Are you sending a message?
Affirmative. We're sending several messages at this time, and it should be printing.
I can't hear what you're saying, but it'd be a good idea if you're... Huh? I think it'd be a good idea if you stop sending your message until I get the teleprinter reconfigured.
Roger. Columbia, Houston, Jack, we'd like you just to let the teleprinter run for another 2 minutes here till we're LOS, and at that time you should be able to reconfigure it without any problem.
Okay, I noticed that the take-up...
Roger. In Columbia, Houston, the teleprinter should print just fine without being on the take-up spool, Jack, if you'd just like to let it spew on out there.
Shuttle Mission Control, let me correctly identify the Capcom, who is Terry J. Hart. Some difficulty on board with the teleprinter.
Columbia, Houston, 30 seconds left here at Bermuda. See you at Madrid in 6 minutes.
Okay, Terry, good morning to you.
Top of the morning, Gordo. We'll see you at Madrid.
Capcom Terry Hart advised Columbia Commander Jack Lausma to let the teleprinter print out. It was the judgment of the flight control team here that it was not imperative that the paper be on the spool for it to print out properly. They're preparing to retransmit that teleprinted material in the event that it didn't come out printed properly, but we're going to wait until Jack Lausma advises whether that printed data is legible. Mission elapsed time is 3 days, 20 hours, 15 minutes. This is Shuttle Mission Control. Looking forward to acquisition of signal in 5 minutes. This is Shuttle Mission Control. We're expecting acquisition of signal in 1.5 minutes through Madrid. As the television monitor shows, the launch team has inscribed the plotting board with the words welcoming the entry team, which has not pulled a shift in the Mission Control Center since flight day 1. And the back of the Mission Control Center has a banner with 3-foot-high letters also saying welcome back entry team, and a little subtle chain pulling by the orbit team, or the launch team. welcoming the entry team back into the Mission Control Center. We have voice contact coming up in about a half a minute. Columbia on its 63rd orbit of the Earth, coming up on acquisition of signal at Madrid in just a few seconds. Mission elapsed time is 3 days, 20 hours, 20 minutes. This is Shuttle Mission Control.
Columbia, Houston, we're AOS at Madrid for 5 minutes.
Okay.
And Columbia, Houston, we think we got 5 messages aboard at Bermuda. If you don't see those 5, give us a call there and we'll retransmit them at this time. In Columbia, Houston, we have another set of teleprinter messages coming your way. Some of them are duplications of the first, so you'll each have a copy.
Okay.
In Columbia, Houston, we're just going to repeat the first set of 5 messages in case you didn't get them at Bermuda. In Columbia, Houston, we have about 2 minutes of music coming for your entertainment, and there's 3.5 minutes left here at Madrid.
Okay, we'll enjoy it.
Columbia, Houston, 1 minute left here at Madrid. We'll see you next at Yargady at 20 plus 54. See you there.
Okay, thanks for the music. One of your messages got scrambled, lines 4 through 8 on the message 31G, 31 Golf.
We copy that and we'll retransmit at Aurora.
Okay.
Hello, Columbia, Houston through Yargady for 7 minutes.
Okay, we're hearing you through Yargady, Terry.
Roger, Jack, and if you have a minute, maybe you could tell us which messages are on board and are clear, and we'll transmit any that are not.
Okay, just a sec. We got them all distributed around, Terry. I'll just tell you what they are in essence. We got the one about the PDP and high voltage, no problem. We got the flight plan update. We got one on PDRS operations, I believe. Gordo did some with that one. We got the one page replacement. And I'm just looking at the last group you said. It looks like a repeat of all of them. We got 31G, 35 Bravo, 35 Alpha, 36 Charlie, 37 Alpha, and 40 Alpha. Over.
Okay, Jack, we copy all that and understand that part of 031 Golf there at lines 4 through 8 were garbled, and we will retransmit that one, and we'll give you an extra copy of a couple of the others at the upcoming Auroral Pass. Over.
Okay, and I did the first procedure on the water boiler this morning. I went to high and put the flash evaporator on, but didn't say anything about going back to normal on the out temp. You want me to do that?
Stand by, please, Jack. Columbia to Houston, Jack, that'll be coming up a little bit later in the cap. No action at this time.
I didn't catch what you said. Go ahead.
Roger, that step will be coming a little bit later in the cap. No action required on the water boiler at this time.
Okay, I'll wait till I get to it.
Shuttle mission control, mission elapsed time 3 days, 20 hours, 58 minutes. We've got about 3 minutes remaining in this acquisition period over Yargity.
Columbia, Houston, we have a comment for Gordo concerning that PDRS ops checklist message when you have a minute. We have 3 minutes left here at Yargity.
Go ahead. Hey, Terry, do I need the message? It's upstairs.
Yes, sir, you do, but no rush on that. We can either get it at Auroral here or after your breakfast on the stateside pass. There's no rush.
Okay, I've got it in hand. Go ahead, Terry.
Okay, Gordo, if you'd go down to line 14, where the instruction is mode, end effector, enter. There's an error there. End effector should read orbiter unloaded. Similar comment down on line 39. End effector should read orbiter unloaded. Over.
Okay, that's what I used yesterday when I was grappling. That's more logical when you're looking at the window to use that. I understand.
Okay, sorry we didn't get it up first time. Columbia, Houston, 1 minute left here at Yargity. We're 2 minutes from Auroral. When we get AOS at Auroral, we'll be sending you a couple of duplications and also a new message, which will be 034, and that'll be the mission summary for flight day 5. Over.
Okay.
Shuttle mission control, got a brief keyhole as we pass from Yargity to Arroyo. About a minute and a half of loss of signal. And communication between the ground and the crew will be sparse during these early morning hours. They want to give the crew an opportunity to have a leisurely and complete breakfast without being disturbed by a lot of calls from the ground. So until breakfast is complete, well, I don't think we need to really expect an awful lot of dialogue in the air to ground. About a half a minute before we acquire signal again. Mission elapsed time is 3 days, 21 hours, and 2 minutes. This is shuttle mission control.
Columbia, Houston, AOS at Auroral now for 4 minutes.
Okay, hear you loud and clear.
And you're loud and clear, Jack.
Terry, I noticed one of the things we're not getting done very well because we're always so busy getting ready to do something else is that we're not getting any opportunity to take any 16mm movies of how you operate in this thing. And maybe tomorrow, if there's time, we could schedule an hour or so where we could just run through a bunch of things that we think we ought to photograph for documentation.
Okay, Jack, that's a good input. We'll go ahead and crank that into our flight planning for tomorrow.
I think the morning routine would be a good thing to photograph when you're doing your breakfast and doing your paperwork and shaving and so forth. And if we could all group all that stuff in one time, then we could get it done efficiently rather than just doing it spotty throughout the day.
Okay, we understand your comment, and we'll make sure we get back to you before sleep tonight to let you know what you'll be reading in that regard in the morning.
All right, thank you.
Columbia, Houston, 30 seconds left here at Aurora, and you'll be glad to know you'll be working with the entry team a little later today. They've been chomping at the bit to get a chance to work with you here, and you'll be seeing them here shortly. We may be talking to you still coming up on Milo, though, and that'll be at 21:37. We'll see you there.
Okay, Terry.
Have an LOS at Arroyo, about a 30-minute loss of signal period now while Columbia moves across on its 64th orbit, marching toward the next ground station at Mylar. And at that time we'll have a pass of about 7.5 minutes in duration. Mission elapsed time, 3 days, 21 hours, and 8 minutes. This is Shuttle Mission Control. This Shuttle Mission Control, mission elapsed time is 3 days, 21 hours, 31 minutes. We're about 5 minutes away from acquiring signal over the Mylar station. Columbia is on 64th orbit of the Earth. It appears that when the ENCO begins to try to recover that S-band number 1 unit, that those efforts are going to be made only over stations which have both S-band and UHF capability, just to keep that redundant communication capability available rather than trying over an S-band station only. Those stations which have both S-band and UHF capability are Ascension Island, Bermuda, Buckhorn, Goldstone, Guam, Hawaii, Merritt Island, and Madrid. Still another 4.5 minutes till we acquire signal with Columbia. Mission elapsed time, 3 days, 21 hours, 33 minutes. This is Shuttle Mission Control.
Hello, Columbia. Houston back with you stateside for 11 minutes.
Yes, sir. We're just having breakfast, doing the morning routine. We've got our flight plan updates all in place, and as soon as we finish eating breakfast and cleaning up, we'll be ready to have at it.
Okay, sounds good. We'll be just listening here for 11 minutes. We do have an earliest MET of enable for you if you'd like to copy that. And if while you're eating your breakfast there, if you'd like to listen to the science report from your activities yesterday, I'd be glad to read that to you.
Okay, give me the earliest MET of enable. I've got my flight plan right here.
Okay, super. 3 days, 2,200 hours. Forward light off. Over.
Okay, it's 2,200 and off. Thank you.
I guess we could listen to some science while we chase little pieces of sausage to get away down and eat them.
Okay, the OSS folks are real pleased with your activities yesterday. The VCAP and the PDP teams are excited about the beam search, and they've noticed a beam approximately 6 meters across. The PDP measurements have picked up some wake effects from the orbiter, and 2 high-intensity solar flares have been observed on flight days 3 and 4, and if this solar activity continues to increase, the PIs expect to get some real good X-ray experiment data. All the instruments on a pallet are working real well, and they want to pass on the words, keep up the good work. They're real happy with the results so far.
Oh, that's good news, Terry. We're pleased to hear that. That's what we came here to do, and we were just remarking between ourselves how well the orbiter has responded and performed. It's reached quite a remarkable level of maturity for just the third flight. We've been basically trouble-free with the systems and able to do all these other things while the orbiter kind of took care of itself.
Yeah, how about that? I think we're finally getting to learn the spacecraft.
Well, it's kind of strange as a pilot to be able to just wander around eating and sleeping and letting your airplane fly along
In Columbia, we see you coming right across the Keys right now, the Florida Keys. We do have one request, if you have a minute while you're eating breakfast. Jack and Gordy, you might want to think about the launch phase a little bit, and we'd like any comments you might have about the debris that you saw during launch phase. And we're particularly interested in breaking that down into two phases, the first stage debris as opposed to any debris you might have seen once you were up and out of the atmosphere on second stage.
Okay, you want us to talk about it, you, or is the tape recorder run?
We're not recording voice today, and you can give it to us on air to grind, but that's at your convenience if you want to defer that to a little bit later today. We've got about 8 minutes left here stateside, however.
Okay, we did some of that the first day and put it on a recorder somewhere. Maybe you didn't get it, or maybe it wasn't complete.
I think we were recording voice on the first day. Jack, would you be able to recall the MET of that conversation?
I wrote it down, and I can get it later when I get back to my book. Jack got most of his comments on the tape. I just started and then got interrupted by something, and then by the time I got back to it, you weren't recording, so I did not have my comments recorded yet.
Are you still there?
Yeah, we copied your last. Stand by, please. In Columbia, Houston, we show you're just passing over KSC about this time. I think the weather may be a little cloudy down there today. How you all feeling this morning? Eating a good breakfast, are you?
Yeah, we're eating everything that's on the menu. We got some catching up to do. I figure we can dig back in the last 3 days and clean that up before we come home.
Okay, we copy that.
Right there, what I recall about the boost was that something came off and hit the windscreen shortly after liftoff, and that was the W3 window, and then after that, it seemed, and it was a white in color, and after that, it seemed like I recall little pieces like snowflakes hitting the windscreen and the W2 and the W3 windows. But that stuff was all white too, and they were just smaller pieces, and kind of like being in a snowstorm. And then after staging it up in the atmosphere, I recall that there were lots of little particles like that were also white in color, but they didn't go screaming by us anymore. They kind of floated along with us.
Okay, Jack, was the preponderance of the snowflaking coming off prior to max Q, you think, or was it pretty much throughout first stage?
I can't give you a good answer on that one.
My opinion was that the debris that came off was kind of related to the Q bar. I could hear the wind noise building up, steadily up, and kind of correlating to the indicated airspeed there. And so was the stuff coming off. There were various size pieces, all white. I saw nothing that looked hinted at all of the brown soapy color. White pieces, and several of them hit my windshield and left a white smear. Looked almost like a bugs on your windshield of your car. I really would strongly guess that it was those white tiles.
There's several fairly large white streaks on the forward windows, W2 through W5. And there's also a light residue on the two front windows that wasn't there when we launched.
Tried to photograph those with a 35, both with and without the flash, as specified in the photo TV book.
Roger, that's a real good description. Can you pin down the time at which the streaks occurred on the window from the debris?
Yeah, I think the big streak in my window occurred when I saw this white object come at us right after liftoff. Most of the time after that, I was heads down, looking at the gauges and so forth, making sure we were doing right. So a lot of it I can't repeat.
Roger, and it sounded like Gordo's windows were streaked to sometime later, maybe around max Q, is that right?
Well, I think it was a more continuous process, Jerry, not any one event, but there was stuff coming off all the way through first stage and up. I don't know that I can pin down a maximum for it. Seemed to correlate with roughly, but I'm not absolutely certain about this, with the noise building up and maximum airspeed and maximum debris coming on.
Okay, that's a good pilot report. Thank you very much. We got about 2 minutes left here at Bermuda.
Shuttle mission control mission lapse time, 3 days, 21 hours, 46 minutes. The numbering system for...
The shaking and rattling sort of ride that Joe and Dick described is there. I was surprised. I expected that to start with SRB ignition, and I definitely remember the airplane starting to shake and rattle and flatter at main engine ignition. And I thought, and there was a little confusion in my mind as to have the SRBs fired or not. But then when they fired, there was no doubt that was when they fired, and then the whole vehicle was rattling before we were even off the pad. And then that shaking and rattling occurred all the way through first stage, and that staging, we got the big, completely enveloping flash that's been described before, and it was dead smooth after that.
Okay, real good, Gordo. Thank you. 1 minute left here at Bermuda.
Yeah, I remember about the same thing. The first stage ride was smoother than I had expected it to be, although it was rougher than the second stage ride. And I recall the orange flash that enveloped the windscreen also at SRB SEP, although the SRB SEP, the siren mass ain't very clean, as did the ET SEP, and as reported before, there seemed to be no sound or alerts or anything like that when either ET SEP or SRB SEP occurred.
Roger, copy all that, and we've got some great pictures down here that you're going to love to see next week. We've got about 30 seconds left here at Bermuda. The entry team is coming on, and they're anxious to fly with you all day here. We'll be back talking to you tonight right around sleep time. Have a good day, guys.
Okay, thanks for hanging in here all night. Thanks to you and Tommy and the entire team, and we'll look forward to working with you again.
See you tonight.
The shuttle mission control, mission elapsed time, 3 days, 21 hours, 48 minutes. To continue with the description of those windows, the crew was reporting streaking on windows W2 through W5. The numbering system for the windows on the orbiter is there are 6 windows, and they are numbered from left to right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, as you're seated in the cockpit from left to right. And streaking on windows W2 through W5, in essence, reports the absence of streaking on the windows at the extreme ends of the panorama, the first and last windows in that row. As Capcom Terry Hart reported, the entry team, the Crystal team under Flight Director Hal Drawn, has reported to the Mission Control Center and been for the past hour been proceeding through the debriefing process with Flight Director Tommy Holloway and the Ivory team. We have loss of signal, and we'll acquire again in about 4.5 minutes at Madrid. Mission elapsed time, 3 days, 21 hours, 15 minutes. This is Shuttle Mission Control.
This is Shuttle Control at 3 days, 21 hours, 54 minutes mission elapsed time. Madrid will acquire Columbia in 5 seconds.
Morning, Columbia, Houston through Madrid. The Crystal team is with you for the day.
Steve, how you doing?
Real fine, and congratulations on a job well done yesterday. We were all glued to the TV set.
we're just along for the ride. You guys are doing all the work. There, Steve.
Roger, we're still with you.
Okay, I was a little remiss on the PGU yesterday, but in order to keep the PGU folks happy and amused, I'll give you this morning's reading already.
Okay, we're ready. Go ahead, Jack.
Okay, this was read at 21:30, about a half an hour ago. All lamps are okay. Starting with chamber 7, 23.5, 23.6, 23.3, 23.3, 23.6, 23.8.
We copy those, Jack. Thank you. Columbia, Houston, 2 minutes to go in this pass. When you're finished with breakfast and back upstairs, we'd like you to cycle both Star Tracker shutters. The target suppress bits are set, and we want to look for stars of opportunity.
Well, I'm right where you asked me to be, and I'll do that right this minute.
Okay, thank you. In Columbia, Houston, we're going to remain in our present S-band configuration until we are able to troubleshoot the transponder problems. At iOS, we will be uplink voice only on UHF. If you do have a comm problem with iOS, request you do not do a panel and command until the next UHF site, which would be Yargadi, then talk to us first before we do the panel and command. Over.
Okay, we will not do a panel and command under any conditions unless we hear from you.
That's firm. In Columbia, Houston, we're 30 seconds LOS. Next is iOS in 12 minutes.
This is Shuttle Control. Columbia is out of range at Madrid, going down across Africa toward the next station, the Indian Ocean Station, in 11.5 minutes. Flight Director Harold Drawn and the Crystal team have relieved. The Flight Director Tommy Holloway. Holloway's change of shift briefing is estimated for 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time in room 135 at the JSC News Center. Capcoms on this shift are Steve Nagel and Brewster Shaw. Nagel has been talking to the crew during the Madrid pass. At 3 days, 22 hours, 1 minute mission elapsed time. This is Shuttle Control, Houston. This is Shuttle Control at 3 days, 22 hours, 11 minutes mission elapsed time. Columbia coming up on acquisition through the Indian Ocean Station in about 20 seconds.
Columbia, Houston through iOS for 7.5 minutes. Over.
Yeah, I gotcha. I'm just taking a couple pictures of the Gulf of Aden here.
Sounds good.
Okay, it's clear weather over the Gulf of Aden. We took some pictures here yesterday, too. We've been trying to get some of the visual observation type things that our friends Bob Stevenson and Bill Mulberger want, although it's kind of tough to get them at the right attitude and right sun angle and everything with the way that this machine keeps rotating. When I did activate the PDP and the tape recorder 1, channel 2, I did it at 22:06, and the light was off. And I assume that you don't want to try to power up tape recorder 2, and for that reason, the monitor level reading is only 3 rather than some other number.
Copy, Jack, stand by.
Are we still home to 2235 as a take for the LTU burn?
That's affirmed. 2235, Gordo.
All right.
And be advised, as you know, you'll be doing this burn interconnected to the right ohms and in blowdown, so you can expect a right ohms tank pressure caution and warning during the burn.
Okay, we just want to let it blow on down or repress it?
The answer, Gordo, is we'll let it blow down to the end of the burn, and then we'll repress it after the burn.
Okay.
And on page 1-20 of the payload ops checklist, I'm referring to where we're supposed to go to track select open on tape recorder 1, and for the third activation, go to track select number 24 on tape recorder 2, and the monitor level is supposed to be 6 to 8. The monitor level is reading 3, and I'm supposed to report that to you. You got it.
Okay, Jack, we copy that. It's no problem. You can press on.
Okay, I'd like to say that. Thank you. PDP is activated.
Roger. Columbia Houston, that PDP activation looks good, and you are go for PDP deploy at the proper time in the timeline.
All right, we thank you.
Columbia Houston, we're 25 seconds LOS now. On the repress of the ohms, we will do it after the burn, as I said, and we'll call for it over Auroral where we can see data, and we'll see you next at Yargadee in 8 minutes.
Okay, we'll wait for your call on repress the ohms.
Roger.
This is Shuttle Control. The Indian Ocean Station has loss of signal with Columbia. Next station, Yargadee, in about 8 minutes. We're about 14 minutes, 45 seconds away from the L2U reaction control system burn. That's a thermal test, thermal soakback test of one of the primary reaction control system jets. LTU is an up-firing jet on the left aft pod. We've been nose to the sun now for a couple of days, and they want to fire one of the primary RCS engines to see what the thermal reaction is. Duration of that burn is about 1 minute 40 seconds. A delta V of 35 feet per second. At 3 days, 22 hours, 21 minutes mission elapsed time. This is Shuttle Control, Houston. This is Shuttle Control. Flight Director Tom Holloway and his flight surgeon, Dr. Ellen Schulman, have left the mission control room on their way to the news center for the change of shift briefing at 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. This is Shuttle Control at 3 days, 22 hours, 27 minutes mission elapsed time. Columbia is at Yargadee now.
Columbia Houston through Yargadee for 7 minutes, over.
Okay, we're hearing you through Yargadee. We're in the burn attitude. We feel like we're all set up and just sitting here waiting for it to happen.
Sounds good. Columbia Houston, while we're waiting here for the burn, one reminder: when you do grapple the PDP, check the wrist roll angle at minus 52 degrees. Over.
Okay, I'll sure do that.
Columbia Houston, minute and a half LOS. Have a good burn, and we'll see you next in about 4 minutes at Aurora Valley.
Okay, we're all set up in the attitude. A minute to go.
Roger.
This is Shuttle Control at 3 days, 22 hours, 36 minutes. About 1 more minute before we will have acquisition through Aurora Valley.
Columbia Houston, back with you through Aurora Valley for 4 minutes. Over.
Okay, the burn's complete. We had a good burn.
Good news. Columbia Houston, you can repress that right ohms anytime we're looking.
Okay, let me get some numbers copied down there. I'll do it.
Okay, fine.
And in the darkness, Steve, the forward firing jet was on, forward up jet was on continuously, the one on the right, and was a real spectacular view. We tried to get some pictures of it. We didn't hear the forward jet fire at all like you do in the simulator. It didn't make any noise that we noticed.
Okay, copy.
And we see a few lights of cities on the ground and some thunderstorms popping off.
Too bad the nozzle's not on board. In Columbia Houston, when you did the GPC reconfiguration, the star trackers dropped into term idle, so when you get a chance, we need to reselect them to track and call up Spec 21 and drop it. Over.
Okay. And we just noticed a little banana chip, dried banana floating around. Gordo says that's for doing a good job.
Okay.
It was just, I guess, the acceleration to the burn dislodged this banana chip from somewhere, and it came right up in front of us as the burn was over.
We'll give you another one entry day.
I'll take one that day.
Okay, I'm ready to repress the right ohms. You want to use the A-leg?
That's affirmed, the A-leg, Gordo.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, mark.
Columbia Houston, you can start the maneuver back to no sun attitude anytime.
Okay, I'm setting it up right now, Steve.
Roger,
okay, helium, right ohms, helium's back off. The numbers were 231 on the aux, 230 on the fuel prior to repress.
Copy that. Thank you. We're 25 seconds LOS. Next is Buckhorn in 27 minutes. Over.
Okay, and for Fido, whoever wants to know, on Spec 33 there, we had a Delta VZ of 35.24, Delta V total of 42.36.
Copy that. And a reminder, we'll be live TV on the next pass through Mila. Over.
Oh, really? Okay.
This is Shuttle Control. Aurora has loss of signal. Crew reporting a good burn. The Columbia's orbit before this burn was 127 by 125 nautical miles, with an orbital period of 1 hour, 29 minutes, 18 seconds. The orbit is predicted as a result of the burn to be 136 by 126 nautical miles. And the expected orbital period, 1 hour, 29 minutes, 34 seconds. Columbia starts a long trip across the Pacific Ocean now. The next tracking station will be Buckhorn in 24.5 minutes. It's 3 days, 22 hours, 43 minutes mission elapsed time. This is Shuttle Control, Houston. This is Shuttle Control at 3 days, 23 hours, 7 minutes mission elapsed time. Columbia is on orbit 65, about to be acquired at Buckhorn. At the Merritt Island, Florida station during this pass, we'll receive television from the remote manipulator system and the plasma diagnostics package deployment.
Columbia, Houston
We'll
through
stand
Buckhorn
by.
for 2 minutes, over.
Okay, Steve, we're trying to get it set up to give you a show here. We've got the flight deck camera on and running. We've also got the Alpha, Delta, and the elbow camera running. And I'm getting poised above. My plan here was to try to be ready to grapple and pick up the PDP and bring it out and let you all work the cameras and watch what you can. Does that sound like a feasible sort of thing?
That's fine, and we'll work the cameras. That'll be in about 3.5 minutes when we get to Mila.
Okay, that's good. I think we'll have things pretty well preset, and Inco can have at it.
Roger. Columbia, Houston, we're 30 seconds, LOS Buckhorn. We'll pick you up next at Mila in about 2 minutes.
Okay, give me a go as soon as you have TV.
Wilco.
This is Shuttle Control. Columbia's had LOS at Buckhorn. We'll have Merritt Island in about 1 minute and 20 seconds. The television will begin there. The cameras will be operated remotely from the ground by the entry team INCO. That stands for Integrated Communications Systems Engineer, and he is Lee Briscoe on this team. We're processing Mila data now. We should have a picture shortly.
Columbia, Houston, back with you through Mila.
Roger.
And Gordo, we just got TV now.
Okay, Steve, I'm going to go down and grab the PDP. You see I'm just about a foot above the pin right now.
Roger, we're looking through camera Delta. It's a good picture.
Okay, Steve, how do you read me right now?
Got you 5 by, Gordo.
Okay, I'm in Vox so that I can talk to you and have a hand free here. Okay, we're end effector is auto, and I'm going to pull the capture trigger, and if you watch close, you'll see it grab right on there, hopefully.
We're looking.
Okay, we have a capture flag.
Roger.
And the rigidization has taken place, and we have all the proper indications, meaning we're grappled firmly to the PDP.
We copy? That's good.
Okay, now we'll have to run through, there'll be a slight pause in the action here while we get the PDP powered up through the arm, and then we'll be ready to take it off. We'll do that as fast as we can. Okay, we have the cabin camera on if you want to switch around.
Roger, we copy, Gordo. Could you get the TV control switch to command for us, please?
Yeah, sorry about that. It's in command. Okay, check item 1, asterisk on 92. On item 3. And item 23. check I and V, RDP, and read them, and I'll check them. 31. Right on, okay. Data mode select, item 15 should be there. PDP power is on now on a gray. Check PDP current voltage. Okay, that's good. Data mode select, item 16. Check PDP current voltage. Okay, that's good. RF data path, PDP transmitter is coming on now. And transmitter on item 13. And I've got a gray over here. Check the receiver signal strength. That's right on. Data mode select 19. Item 19. Check PDP current voltage. Okay, PDP power is off. Driver phone. Lesson 2. RDP item 4 off. Okay, housekeeping value should be 0. Okay, go to spec 94, please. Okay, and I want item 3 plus 4. Okay, the brakes are coming off. And we got to record the attitude if it's different. It's, let's see, I got to get an orbiter loaded first.
Brakes off, orbiter loaded, enter, brakes on.
Okay, the attitude is 359.9 plus 1/10, 359.8. Very close.
9/8, that's all what they were
It's
before.
about like yesterday. Okay, let's have check 4 for latches. That's good. 3 for latches.
That's a 3 gray.
Mechanical power switch on.
Power switch coming on.
Okay, rake switch is vernier check. VCR is running and brakes are off. Go into test to limp the arm. In test mode, go to 3 and release it.
Please stand by. Mark. I got a barber pole.
If you watch real close, Stevie, and see
The pre-release.
rim release is just barely visible even from here with the naked eye.
Brakes on, VTR pause.
Okay, well, let's let that VTR run for now.
Okay, we got our photos yesterday.
Okay, let's get position.
Okay.
I'm rating 1001.
Yesterday.
Minus 16 and minus 388.
Yesterday. No
Okay,
change.
very repeatable on the position and attitude numbers. And the release time was 23:18, call it. On day 3, okay. VTR is running, and check brake switch vernier, brakes off. Going to orbiter loaded. Okay, Steve, we're gonna, if you're still there, we're gonna maneuver up to the top of the guides right now.
Roger, we're looking.
There she comes. Just as smooth as you can ask for. Okay, I'm stopping at the top of the guides. Now I'm coming toward the front end of the ship, toward me, and you can watch the little flipper guide slip down as we come forward. And we're slowly moving forward. Clearance is a little tight in there, about 2 to 3 inches is all the clearance we have toward the aft, so we move it forward to increase the clearance. Okay. Okay, now I'm completely clear and forward of the mount. I'm going to go up. And we'll ease her on up.
And Gordo, we just lost TV, so the system is yours now. Thank you for the show.
Okay, all the extraneous EDP reconfiguration cost us a lot of time there, but we thought we better stick by the checklist.
It looked real good, and we've got 3 minutes to go yet in Bermuda.
All right. This is really a nice operating machine. It couldn't be more like the items we've trained on. If anything, is better.
camera. We've been trying to get some 16 millimeter of this. Do you read me?
Columbia Houston, a minute and 40 left of Bermuda. As far as your IMU alignment, you do not need to perform the maneuver. We'll take stars of opportunity whenever we get them. Over.
Okay, that's good news. How you read me, Steve?
Got you 5 by, Jack.
Okay. Okay, I got item 3 for the RDP. Item 23 is up. IRDP and BRDP are 34 and 49. IRDP is a little bit out of limits, but it came in yesterday at 33. Okay, Gordo, PDP power on, talk back gray.
Columbia Houston, 1 minute LOS.
And gray.
Roger. Okay, check transmitter, talk back gray.
Columbia Houston.
Go ahead.
Roger, Jack. We do have the PDP EMI search AOS times, and I can give you the first one just to get you going here before we go LOS.
Go ahead.
It's iOS, 3 days, 23 hours, 46 minutes, and 10 seconds. Over.
It's 23, 46, and 10.
That's a firmware 20 seconds LOS. I'll get you the others later, and we'll pick you up at Madrid next in 6.5 minutes. Thanks a lot for the good show, and a reminder you're in Fox.
Okay, thank you.
I'm going to get out of box.
Okay, Gordo, get check transmitter, talk back to gray.
It is. Oh, yeah, it is, yeah.
All right, pressure is less than 50. PDP high voltage on, talk back gray.
On and gray.
Okay, high PDP is 3 in the limit. All right, this is the second in person. I'll record this data. 21.5.